it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting obtrusive to the show. But they can go in the afternoon for a U.S.
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and they can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
okay,
we know they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I continue this before you cut me off? We know one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God! It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.
What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. I am your host, Phil S. Marks, and on today, this afternoon, this evening show, we, of course, have Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay going deep, going balls deep. Okay, we also have AEW being bizarre. Their go-home show was very bizarre, and Brian and Dave can agree on that. Ilja Dragunov is easy. And Tony Khan should easily not only be able to scoop him up, but should easily be willing to scoop him up because it's a no-brainer for Tone, right? And all of that and more, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. As always, you can support the show by super chatting and hitting like, hitting retweet, checking out patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times for bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week, or become a YouTube channel member or gift a membership. I am Phil S. Marks. Without further ado, flutes in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Flutes in the chat. Because it is time for everybody's favorite show, and it is called Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week.
You know, poor people don't like AEW.
So to kick things off, last week we talked a bit about the G1 climax between Yuya Uemura and Ryohei Oya. And Dave Meltzer kind of coped over the match because, you know, you had wrestlers working headlocks and doing rest holds, Brian. And it was just a very captivating match with really good pacing. And this dude worked over his opponent's neck like the entire match and kept getting him in this bulldog choke. Now, famously, this is a choke that I believe Carlos Newton got a win with in MMA. And, of course, Ben Askren beat Robbie Lawler with one of these. That's why Moxley started doing this move. And Dave had a little crybaby cope session. Because he knew he wanted to rate it high, and he knew that he loved the match, but he knew that it had nothing to do with what he typically rates high, you know? So he debated with Bryan and deliberated with him over like, oh, this is unrealistic and people want this isn't realistic and stuff like that, even though the flips that Dave loves from the Young Bucks and the super kicks is the most unrealistic shit ever. But these guys did do more realistic wrestling and working submission holds and chokes. I went over how in MMA there's tons of cases you can point to where people are working limbs and working multiple times before finally sinking a choke in, wearing somebody down. So Dave doesn't know what he's talking about, but he rated the match a 5.5 stars because it was in the Tokyo Dome.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
You know, Phil Marks, I know.
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it.
So there you go, a 5.5 stars for that one. Absolutely crazy. And we have some funnies to get to. So Bryan Alvarez is, you know, he's a bit of a dummy. But one thing is that he takes a lot of flack just for being involved with Dave and just for being involved in this community and being involved, attaching himself to Wrestling Observer. He takes a lot of flack, and some people think Bry doesn't deserve it. I think he does. Shorty Pie Bry deserves to be roasted just like everybody else. It just is what it is. And one person who, you know, is quite toxic, one of the sycophants of the Observer, recently passed away. And his name's Rovert, okay? And he was an Observer sycophant to the point where, sycophant to the point where he had gotten banned off the message boards. He liked the Boston bombings, and he was like happy about the, allegedly, in my opinion, he was like happy about the theater shooting or something like this. Just a morbid person, harassed wrestlers, all of these sorts of things. But he was like welcomed in the community. There's a lot of people, even back in the day, there's a lot of people who liked Rovert who are equally as mentally ill. And there's a lot of wrestlers who are like, oh, he was so nice to me and shit, unless you're Kathy Kelly or others. And then he harasses you and fucking talks shit on you and wishes horrible things on you, right? And this is a dude who would spend like all day recently being like, you're next, you're gonna die next, you're gonna die next, like on Twitter, just going every single person who's anti, you know, whatever he thinks, just you're gonna die, you're right, like in Minecraft. And he passed away recently, so people were digging up some of like his old treasure trove, some of his old gems from the Observer message boards. And again, this is like the type of people that for years now Dave has been catering to. So before there was ever an AEW, you had a bunch of these fucking lunatics like on the Observer message board, and Tone was on the message board, and this is the foundation, this is the base. Like if Dave Meltzer's Sicko Vecna, then like the Demogorgons and the fucking Demobats are all coming from the message board. Do you know what I'm saying, dude? So here's back in the day, Bryan Alvarez had to ban Rovert from the F4W board for being too toxic for even that fan base. Let's take a look.
Actually, I'm going to get serious now about our listeners. One guy is going to be really sad about... Actually, he's probably already sad, quite frankly. But a lot of people are also going to be really, really happy when I'm done with this rant here. It's not even a rant, really. It's just, these are the facts. Rovert is in timeout.
Okay.
I don't know when he's going to be back.
Now, he's such a prominent guy that he feels the need to like take time of their radio time to explain this on their show. Like he's a part of the lore, right? This is a guy that Tony Khan had to tag Bix and Span and go, Rovert's great. Bix, he's actually one of the good ones. And then you look at his tweets and the way he interacted with people, and people I know even wishing just terrible shit on them. And I mean, a lot of people accuse him of being responsible for like a lot of the bot activity. Right. So this guy recently passed away, and I just found this interesting because, again, like I said before, a lot of people are digging up like old gems, old shit covered gems. And again, here's Bryan like having to cope over the sickle. Like this is how long for people who think like, no, it doesn't run that deep, and Tone and Dave and Bryan's connection with the Bucks and these fucking Uber sickos and possible bot campaigns. When people think that it's just not possible, like they talked about this dude on air and everything.
He may be back in a day.
They don't even talk about me on air. What do we?
He may be back in a week. He may be back in a month. He may never be back. I've not decided yet. All I know is not 3 days goes by. Often not even 2 days. And during some periods, not a day goes by where I don't get emails.
Not a day goes by that I ain't high in the club every day. I stay fly. What is that again? I think that's corporate thuggin', CTE, until the day I die. That's the way it's gonna be.
And private messages begging me to ban Rovert.
See, so there are fans back then begging Bryan, please ban him. Please, please. Can you ban him, please? But they don't. Why? What is he providing for you guys? What is he doing to where you don't just go, okay, yeah, fuck this guy, and then just ban him? You know what I mean? Like,
put a lot on the board, as a lot of people are aware. Actually, to be quite honest, I don't put up with a lot on the board because I go to the board, about 10% of the time that I did back in the day. The board is RUNNOFT, me, basically. But I still go here and there. I read some stuff, make some smart-ass comments, the usual. But I keep getting emails, and I keep getting private messages. And it's not just one thing. There's not just one thing that happened that I finally flipped my lid and decided to ban Rovert. Reason I've decided to ban Rovert is he's
just a guy. Just ban him. Like, think about, he has to sit here and cope sesh over banning a fucking uber sicko before there was even an AEW. And he has to fucking ban this guy, and he's like contemplating and deliberating over it on the radio, using his airtime to do what?
Culmination of way too many emails and way too private messages. Now, I know that Rovert is probably sitting down to email me right now, and I can just tell you right now, don't bother. In fact, if I get an email from you, every word in that email will be 1 day longer that you're banned. So if you cannot help but email me, you might want to keep it short. If you write 500 words to me, I will ban you for 500 days. That's the rule here. If you just
someone that you have to tell, do not fucking message me. You're going crazy. Have you ever had to do? I've had to do that. Don't message me. You are unhinged. The fact that this is who Tone is this guy's a great guy. Even Bryan's whoa, this guy's kind of weird.
Slow and keep quiet. Maybe I'll even let you back tomorrow. But all of the emails say the exact same thing. They say that Rovert makes the board absolutely no fun at all. Now, I realize there's a lot of stuff on the board that makes it no fun at all. But to have one person repeatedly, one single person, more than any other, those of you that have been on the board know that Rovert has, I don't even know how many posts right now. Is it 50,000, 80,000?
That's insane.
Do you have any idea, Vince?
I zoned out this rant.
I guess your average person has
ban
about...
him and shut up, move on.
Yeah, dude. Oh, my God. Thank God. This is what I mean. What was going on behind the scenes to where this guy was so deeply connected? Bri felt like he had to address it like this major fucking thing. And Dave's was connected to this fool and Tone. And then he's begging Tone, oh, can you get Bix and Span to unblock me? I usually like Bix and Span. What is going on with these guys? And his co-host is yeah, just ban him and move on. I'm just completely zoned out. This is actually the dumbest shit ever. Just ban him and move on. It's crazy. It goes way deeper than people think.
I guess your average person, this is a lesson for everybody. And it has to do with what we're going to review today.
I see.
I would guess your average person...
He's I see. No, Bri, it's not a lesson for everybody because not everybody acts like that. You know what I mean? Whatever he was saying or doing. Now, again, he was yeah, the Boston bombings rule. I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, it's not what he said, but he was the movie theater shooting at the Dark Knight or whatever. That's awesome. Or what you guys, we've seen him say recently before he passed, oh, I hope Mike Santana wakes up face down with a toothbrush, comparing him to Eddie Guerrero, how he was found dead, and just multiple. We covered it. I have some bookmarked in the sicko segment because it's popped up as of late, and yeah, so look at Bryan deliberating. This is a mentally deranged person, and he's sitting here should I ban him? Yeah, your audience is begging you to ban him. Just ban him and move on. Don't even bring it up. Why are you giving him airtime? I'm sure he's emailing me right now talking about him on the air. Holy shit.
He just looked at averages. Has about 800 posts. Rovert has between 50 and 80,000. I don't even know how many. First off, think about that. So the amount of criticism I get about Rovert is exactly equivalent to the number of posts that he has is in regards your normal person on the board. You know, sometimes I'll get an email about some random person here and there, but, you know, it's very rare I'll even get 2 emails about the same person. But getting the same emails about the same guy almost every single solitary day, all saying the exact same thing, that he makes the board no fun. He makes people not want to show up. I don't know. The point I'm trying to make here about this show, everybody, is that tonight we watched Tuesday Night Titans. And on Tuesday Night Titans, what do we see on this show, Vince?
The point I'm trying to make about me coping about having to ban this guy because I have this weird incestuous relationship with him and the ties run deeper, and he like gave me a hookup or was giving me scoops on something allegedly that I believed, or I propped him up. Dude, just silently ban him and move on. Who gives a fuck?
A lot of different things.
Yeah.
We saw Vince McMahon and we saw Lord Al Hayes and we saw Hulk Hogan cutting a promo with his mom. And I guess the highlight of the show was we saw a segment with Vince McMahon interviewing Butcher Vachon.
Mm-hmm.
And big, bad Butcher Vachon, what did he do during the show, Vince?
He sang.
He sang a song.
Yes.
He sang a song. Now, how many times have I talked about how, you know, you watch Impact, and one of the problems with Impact is it's never any fun at all. There's
Kind of like this show, Bri.
a feeling of sadness and anger and hatred that permeates that show. Remember that day that we went through and
Vince is sitting there. He's like, imagine how I feel right now, Bri.
we said, how many segments here are actually fun?
Mm-hmm.
And how many involve, you know, screaming, yelling, swearing, hatred, pain, sadness, despair?
So this is how Bri's describing this dude. That years later, Tone's like, he's one of the good ones.
You know, it's
What a
overwhelming.
fucking clown show, dude.
An overwhelming negative feeling on Impact.
Right.
And Rovert brings an overwhelming negativity to the board.
Yeah, bro. No, it's like, Bri, just ban him. We get it. Like he's shit disturbing. Nobody, if you're in my fucking chat, making people go, listen, this is just no fun. This guy's just ruining it. You know? You just get fucking banned. It's that simple. Like it's just so funny to hear this guy cope. It's like Rovert's like TNA.
So therefore, he is now in timeout. And Rovert, if you're listening right now, I want you to sit, not on the board, obviously, and I want you to think about why might it be that day after day, so many different people, not the same guy, same couple of guys, it's a different person virtually every day. Why do so many different people write me every day and beg me to ban you? Why do you bring such negativity to the board? So I'm going to think about that for a while, and when your ban gets lifted, return and give it another shot. But for now, we're going to have a Rovert-free board for a while and see how things go.
Oh, my God, dude. Such a weird...
Actually,
Such
Let me
a
get serious
weird
now about
thing.
our
Oh, this
listeners.
person has me blocked, so I can't remove this bookmark. I can do it. I can do it with my phone. But yeah. So that was pretty funny. It's just so random and cringe. So speaking of randomness, Dave Meltzer, you know, he melted down about not being involved in the Dark Side of the Ring episode, only to have come up with some conspiracy about, well, you know, it's because Tales from the Territories, bah. And then I was happy to listen to Jim Cornette and Brian Last talk about this too, and they said along the same lines as of what I said, you know, like, yeah, well, yeah, it's Tales from the Territory, right? They're telling tales. It's like tall tales. It's not like real stories of the territories. It's tales from the territories. Like they're, you know, obviously they're going to be exaggerative. That's the whole, I thought that was the whole point of that show. And that's what made it different than Dark Side. It's not just like, here's a Dark Side, full blown 100% accurate documentary. I thought the whole point of Tales from the Territories was like, here's a few guys doing a roundtable and some people who get interviewed about the tall tales of the, you know, like Jim Cornette would tell these tales of the territories. And like, I'm sure there's some exaggerative for entertaining purposes. There's some exaggerating in there. We all know. Again, I say like Haku. Oh, he ripped a guy's jaw right out of. I'm sure he didn't like rip it's like fucking Terrifier or something, right? He rips the guy's jaw and he's spraying blood everywhere like Kill Bill with his tongue flopping around. But he tongue and death gripped a dude and dislocated and broke his shit up, and the guy was probably messed up for real. Like, it's tales of the territory. So Dave doesn't understand that, even though he was on the show. And then the producers fucking pwned him, and they were like, dude, you've been on the show multiple times since. What you're claiming would be the reason why we don't have you on the show.
The only reason I know about this is because I know about it.
And so here was Dave's thoughts on the Missy Hyatt Dark Side of the Ring, and he's going to point out what nobody talked about. And it's like, gee, Dave, you wonder why they didn't have you on the show. You can't even speak well. You look crazy. You make shit up. And now you're going to be like, oh, here's the insight I would have brought to the show that nobody actually talked about on the show. Let's take a listen.
How about the Missy Hyatt Dark Side of the Ring?
She said that, at one of the first tapings that Vince went out with her after the taping, and they went out and played blackjack. And then Vince took her to the hotel room, and
Want to come to the hotel?
Vince tried to kiss her, tried to tongue her, and she
Tried to tongue her. Tongue. I know a lot about tongue, Brian.
a hotel door in his face because she was married to Eddie at the time. And she said that was when her push ended, which, it's not the first time we've heard that story. And
Dave finally cleaned like the white speck of spittle off his mic.
And, back then it was
And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go and watch any old episode of this show, and there's like spittle, like a piece of old gum or maybe banana that his girlfriend squished in his face in 1973 on his mic, and then he finally cleaned it off. But he's not making a point. It was like, except
back then it was accepted part of the business to a degree.
What the fuck are you talking about, Dave? I wonder why they didn't have you on the show to explain some shit that you go, hold on, let me just make something up real quick. Okay, ready. Like, what are you talking? It was accepted to harass women or it was accepted back then. Dude, if you're out playing I don't even mean harass. I actually take that back. Because if you're out playing fucking blackjack with a woman and drinking with her all night, and you go up to the hotel room and you try and kiss her and she says no and slams the door, that's still accepted today. It's not like you did anything wrong. You're like, fucking, let me see now maybe because she's married and it's Vince and he's married. Okay, if you want to say that's wrong, but what is Dave going to try and say here?
Terrible. It's terrible now. It's
terrible to because they were married. Now, if he doesn't say because they're married, then like, what is he babbling about?
I mean, accepted part of the business to a degree.
An accepted part of the business. What?
It's terrible now. It's terrible then. I totally believe it because, she's told me that story before. It's not the first time, but
so then why are you even questioning it? So Dave goes, yeah, let me raise doubt in people about her story by telling them how much I believe it. What are you trying to accomplish?
And she has said it publicly before as well. In fact, I think on one of the interviews we did here, she said that story, but she said it publicly right there. And the funny part is,
okay, so she didn't say it publicly in the interview that you did with her. Like, what point did Dave literally try and make? I'm trying to figure this out, chat. So, okay, besides them both being married, she didn't say Vince fucking threw me in the room and tried to shit on my head. Yeah. She didn't say that, right? She said that he kissed her. She went no, slammed the door in his face, and then he didn't push her. So yes, the boss dynamic is fucked up, but Dave's not like making a distinction, and you guys are going to understand this later too. When we watch Dave talk about how deep the storytelling is between Ospreay and Omega versus anything WWE's doing. He can't give one example of how it's deeper than anything. He just says that's what it is. So Dave goes, it's unacceptable. What's unacceptable? What was unacceptable? Did Vince think he was going to get lucky? Is it crossing the line as the boss? I don't understand. Like, you have to be more specific. You can't just say vague shit like that and then think you're making a point, Dave. And it's because his brain is mushed and he's scrambling all this different like info, and he doesn't actually give context or say what he thinks he's trying to say. I think is what I'm trying to give Dave the benefit of the doubt.
Is that I did not see any like mention of it anywhere.
So Dave didn't see any mention of it anywhere, even though he just said that she mentioned it in an interview he did with her, and then she mentioned it in the documentary, and clearly you were like, oh, that's fucked. Yeah, that's what Vince would do. It was a moment where you're like, yeah, fuck that asshole Vince. That's what he does. She didn't sleep with him, so he didn't push her anymore. Yeah. And then they just move along. Dave goes, I didn't see a mention of it anywhere. The fuck you talking about? It was in the show, in the interview you did for the show. So what? You just wanted to go, yeah, and Vince is a terrible man, and there wasn't 93,000 in the Superdome with Andre Hulk Hogan. Like, what do you mean there was no mention of it? You're talking about how they mentioned it in the show, and then your editor put a screen grab of the reenactment from the show where they mentioned it, and not only did they mention it, they fucking acted it, Dave.
Right there. And the funny part is that I did not see any like mention of it anywhere.
What does that mean?
It's almost like I don't know. I guess with Vince, Vince is like, you don't go against Vince. You don't say anything.
Where? What the fuck are you talking about? You mean the guy who just got has to settle in a fucking lawsuit, who's being sued by businesses and this woman for doing shit, and people have called out like along the way as him being a creep, and the whole Ashley Massaro stuff and the way people view him now. I just don't understand like what
bad about Vince, no matter what. I think people are just, I don't know what it is. It's the Vince aura. But
I don't know what it is. It's the Vince aura. What is Dave trying to say? He's just trying to go, Vince was bad. Yeah, we know, bro. They did a whole doc on him, and it showed everyone how Looney Tunes this guy is. Like, what the fuck are you trying? It's the Vince aura. What?
Vince, Vince is like, you don't go against Vince. You don't say anything bad about Vince, no matter what.
So is he saying that? So she did say something bad about Vince, and is he trying to say that Dark Side of the Ring, the people who didn't they produce like a Vince special or whatever the fuck, and the people who did Dark Side of the Ring now, they don't bring on experts. They secretly tried to ban you, even though you lied about all that, and the Vince aura is preventing them from criticizing Vince, even though he was criticized in this episode of Dark Side. Dave, what did you want? It's a 48 minute show or whatever, is it not? So you wanted them to spend how many minutes going over this one thing before getting into the titty picture stuff and all of the other things that were in the episode? And her going to ECW and trying to encapsulate Missy fucking Hyatt, her entire career and her upbringing, and try to encapsulate her personality and get to know people who knew her, and all of these different controversies that she was wrapped up in. How long were they supposed to spend on this for you to not say something this fucking stupid and pointless?
I think people are just, I don't know what it is. It's the Vince aura, but that's total bullshit.
What's total bullshit? I don't even understand.
Somebody for that in later years. And,
yeah. So, and we know exactly.
Suppose she could have, she didn't, want to. And at the time,
she could have sued him for kissing her and her shutting the door and then him going, oh, fuck, and then walking away, Dave. That's what she could have sued him for. What is he actually talking about? Dave, are you gay? Have you ever had a woman, Dave? I don't know. I know you got kids, but what are we?
Idiot.
It's cool, bro. It's cool. We accept you, but like, what's going on here?
You
know?
what?
Like, what are you even trying to say?
I don't know.
Lex Luger's confused. Like, what are you trying to say, bro?
I mean, if she had sued, I mean, she would have been like super villain, right? And probably never got another job in wrestling, which she still.
So the fact he didn't push her because she didn't hook up with him, she sue over that. Okay, she did end up suing people. Like, why don't you ask Missy Hyatt? It's crazy how he's like, nobody brought it up and blah, blah, blah. Now he's like, she could have sued and shit. Well, tell her that. Ask Missy if she's okay with the way Darkseid handled her story. What are you even trying to say?
To do so, it made no sense, you know, from her perspective to do it then. But that's totally.
So when he left the company, when she left the company not that long after, it didn't make sense for her to do it then either, or
shit.
What's total bullshit? It's total bullshit that nobody said anything about the thing they said on that show. What was your point even? God damn, Dave thinks he's cooking and he just ain't cooking. He needs to write his fucking thoughts down a little bit better and think his thoughts through a little bit more before he jumps on the air and talks shit. Because it's actually insane. So, let's do a little WWE versus AEW here to start things out. Now, who remembers this when The Miz went off on Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryanson, and if you guys remember, Miz was like, look, dude, with like tears in his eyes. He's like, you think that you played it, say, or whatever the fuck. Where's the Miz promo? We played it on the show. You get flagged for playing it, but 10 years ago today, this is from Fadeaway Media, the Miz blacked out and snapped on Daniel Bryan for calling his ring style soft. The Miz was filled with actual rage and blacked out mid-promo. One of the greatest promos of all time, and maturing is realizing that the Miz was right. The Miz was right in that promo. And Danielson proved it right by going to AEW and pretty much making it so he can't even sit at the commentary booth to do commentary. And so Dave goes, and in the end, as soon as he was contractually able, he did so, even turning down his then father-in-law and mentor. Ended up doing the best matches of his career and headlined Wembley Stadium with 50,000 plus. And what he was said many times was the greatest moment of his career. Hey, it sounded like a witty remark at the time. So listen to Dave. Like, he has it ass backwards. Yeah, Danielson main evented Wembley. Okay, but he also main evented WrestleMania. Like, there's levels to the shit. 50,000 plus. There's no actual evidence that it was 50,000 plus, Dave. So here was the promo. Let's play the fucking promo for context, because I don't want to fuck around. We're going to go to WWE here. We're going to head over here, and we're going to...
There's no gentle way to say it. To me, you wrestle like a coward. You wrestle like somebody who's afraid to get hit. Like, I wrestle.
So again, you wrestle like someone who's afraid to get hit. So at the time, you're like, ooh, Danielson's calling out Miz, but you get older, at least for me, and it's like, yeah, dude, Danielson, you can't even sit at a commentary booth anymore. And this isn't me trying to bury Danielson. He's one of my all-timers, dude. WrestleMania 30 is like, that's where I go, wrestling like came back from then on. WrestleMania 30, like that event and on, it was like, oh yeah, wrestling's so back in my mind. Okay? And so I'll give it a like. Danielson here. Oh, you don't like getting hit. Well, you know, look at where you're at. Metal rods, unable to wrestle, bad concussions. You get like vertigo sitting at the fucking commentary booth, or you're just lying about that so you don't have to sit there and listen to Excalibur and Tone yelling in his ear. Oh, I love that the whole time. Right, but either way, like his brain's all rocked up and shit. Let's just be honest here.
I wrestle like a coward. You wrestle like a coward.
I'm the one.
If I were to create a wrestler,
and here's the thing too. This is the whole thing with the bruv grind situation too. Miz is like, I wrestle like a coward. Dude, you rest on your fucking laurels and you just hurl and really hurt yourself to get over. I don't gotta do that. Right? You want to talk about aura, dude. Hogan Rock. And it's not like, as a wrestling fan, no, I don't want to see any physicality. But on a fucking 6-hour show, you can give me hardcore segments throughout the fucking night. Think about WrestleMania 18. They had the hardcore title was like changing hands throughout the night, right? You got cut backstage between every match, and there's like a segment where someone gets hit with a frying pan or something. Someone gets pinned. So you can give me that. You can give me physicality all fucking night. But you give me also that moment with The Rock and Hogan where everyone's the most over moment and they don't got to do shit. And it was physical. There was leather belt, strap whips, and everything. You realize the art of this shit isn't just like fucking yourself up. And let's face it, Daniel Bryan, Yeselmania happened because Bryan was over. The yes thing was over, and it was the character, and it was them holding him back in that very real thing turning into a storyline and the drama that went with. It wasn't because the cool moves he fucking did. It's because Bryan has something charming about him. He's a likable guy. I'm not trying to bury Bryan here, but you know, he seems like a dude that would be fun to hang out with and a funny guy and shit, but he also just seems like a bit of a dumbass. But that's what's endearing about it. He does seem like a you know, you can relate to the guy a bit. Let's listen to this.
Who to me like embodies, like when I was an independent guy and I was thinking like, oh, okay, what's the soft WWE style? It would be that. WWE is transformed in the last.
Hold on. You had your chance to talk. You're the one that called me a coward in the wrestling ring. I'm the coward in the wrestling ring.
Yeah.
But let's talk about cowards for 1 second. Okay. The reason I wrestle the way I wrestle is because I can do it day in and day out all the time for 10 plus years. I have never in my career ever have been injured. I don't get injured for 6 months to a year.
And again, when Danielson, that's an automatic L with the, when I think of the indie style, that's hard hitting and what?
I am here each and every week, but you sit there and call me a coward?
Yeah.
I'm the coward. Wait, let me tell you about a coward. Let me tell you about a guy who tells his WWE fans, the people that he loves, that he will be back. He promises them. I promise you, I will be back in 1 year's time to claim this title. But you didn't, Daniel, did you? But I'm the coward.
Yeah, and AEW fans called him out too because he was talking all that shit about Japan. I think he went there once. And then he's just like hurt and forced to retire type shit in AEW.
I'm the one that doesn't love the fans.
If they would let me come back, I would come back.
Oh, if you would?
Yeah.
You would. You love that WWE ring. You love being wrestling. You love being right in that wrestling ring, and you love wrestling, right? Well, why don't you quit? Why don't you quit and go to the bingo halls with your indie friends?
Boom. That's the fucking death blow. Like, dude, if you really cared, then quit this fucking job. Now, Dave wants to go, the future pro time, right? No, it didn't. He's retired and hurt, and The Miz is still going. I just watched him live at a house show. Get the most heat of anybody the whole fucking night. So, and putting young guys over and shit. Danielson didn't do any of that. He didn't help get anyone over in AEW who wasn't already over. So what are we talking about? And Danielson was so right. That's the truth bomb. If you really loved wrestling so much and it was about the real wrestling, man, quit. Go to the fucking bingo halls then.
I think you need to calm. That's not what this show's about.
The GM have this. Thank you very much, Renee. This is a great show, but we're talking here. I need to talk to you real quick because the fact is you're the one that calls me the coward, but you're the one that doesn't get in the WWE ring again. No, don't you walk away from me, Daniel. Don't you walk away. I'm the one.
And he walked away because he was getting cooked for real. How do you even rebut that shit?
That loves the fans. I'm the one that loves everyone and everything. You're the one that gets up and walks away every single time. You're the coward. I am not a coward. I am your Intercontinental Champion, and there's a reason I am the title. Reason making this the most relevant, prestigious title that WWE has.
And this is the art of pro wrestling here too. Like working fucking like getting heat on some shit and making people believe it's real, and maybe a bit of it is real. But the Miz is right when he's like, I'm not the coward. This is the whole Ospreay embrace the grind. Miz shows restraint. He got over with his fucking personality. mic work, all of these things. And because of that, he has elevated other people. He's helping elevate Danhausen and whatnot. We see it in real time currently right now in 2026. He's still helping to get people over. Was he thrown in there with Cena and The Rock and stuff and people hated him? Yeah, but that was the point. Like, I fucking hated The Miz, but I was supposed to hate The Miz. And is his wrestling kind of the shits? Yeah, for a long time. He wasn't catching people who were diving on him and stuff like that. But years later, he's one of the best workers. He's one of the better workers, and he was right in the long term.
And I deserve the respect on SmackDown Live.
It's scarier to go, I'm not going to rest on my laurels. I'm going to really try and just get over and operate at the highest level so I can maximize my longevity and really help out not only myself legacy-wise, but other people along the way. This only makes everybody better. If I can continue to cut promos and get tons of heat and carry this title and not get hurt and be forced to give it up, showing restraint is like very much a mature, it's like a hard thing to do. It's a hard thing to do to stay disciplined and shit. And that's part of the grind. That's part of the fucking, you're afraid, Brian. So true, man. When you really think about it, like
camera right here. Understand that this is day 141 of the never-ending Intercontinental Championship World Tour, and I swear to you, I promise you, it will be the most relevant title on SmackDown Live. I could care less about those little kids on for the tag team titles and the Women's Championship and the WWE Championship. This is my show, and I'm sick of all of you, my GM, sitting there criticizing me, calling me the coward.
Yeah, so then you look at what Dave had to say about it, and again, in the end, as soon as he was continually able, he did so. Yeah, even turning down his then father-in-law and mentor. Ended up doing the best matches of his career against two. And headlined Wembley Stadium with 50,000 plus, in what he has said many times was the greatest moment of his career. Okay? Hey, it sounded like a witty remark at the time. Well, him going and doing all of that doesn't disprove anything The Miz said. So, like, what are you trying to say, Dave? You're just an idiot.
Shut up,
like,
bitch.
what are you even trying to say? It doesn't disprove anything The Miz said there. And guess what? It wasn't until, Dave, that there was more money somewhere else that Bryan then quit. Think about that too. It wasn't until there was more money on the table elsewhere. He could have went and got cleared and wrestled in bingo halls and shit. WWE's the highest level. They weren't going to clear him. Then they cleared him. Then he stayed in WWE for a while. Then AEW became a viable option, and he realized, I can get paid more than I'm making here, wrestle way less, wrestle whenever I want, and go to New Japan and Mexico and shit whenever I want, which he didn't actually want to do, because he never really did it. That's awesome. Let me go there. So it wasn't even until there's more money on the table, and so that just proves Miz right. Why don't you quit and go to the bingo halls? He didn't. He quit and went to a company with 50,000 plus in attendance and that paying him millions of dollars, Dave. So it literally proved Miz right. And Dave is just a dumbass who like interprets it incorrectly because he's a fucking fool. So Adam Pearce recently made headlines because he said he doesn't watch wrestling outside of WWE, right? And so here's the chuckle fucks at the Observer, and this is courtesy of the GOAT, Meltzer Said What, who writes, Brian's co-host on Wrestling Observer Live yesterday said that he almost exclusively watches horrifically bad and intentionally so indie matches, and he enjoys watching really horrible backyarders almost die. But WWE equals bad because Adam Pearce isn't watching every random non-WWE promotion. So again, you get an article written by the Observer talking about how, like, here, we can click on this. Let's see who penned this one. Let's see what doofus they hired. Shunak Chakrabarty. Shunak Chakrabarty wrote this for the Observer. And basically, he just quoted it and wrote, Pierce, 48, is a wrestling veteran himself and has wrestled across multiple promotions before settling down in with WWE in a non-wrestling role. recently shared that he does not watch a single minute of wrestling outside of WWE. And so this guy isn't getting triggered by it. This is just very much like a ringside news. I'm telling you guys right now, like, you can look at this article with me. He just writes like 2 sentences, quotes the whole thing, then writes a 3rd sentence. So they're hiring some guy here at the Observer to simply write 3 sentences. That's the extent, that's the quality that the Observer website is right now. Here's just 3 generic sentences, and then we just quote another pod and link to it. Boom. Come to our website. Study and learn. Read and learn, Brian. Pretty cringe. But yeah, here's this dude, Brian's co-host on Wrestling Observer Live, just immediately saying, yeah, I purposefully go out of my way to watch shitty, bad wrestling. And it's just funny, you know?
What do you watch, Royce? You watch everything? Or do you sparingly watch what people say is good?
I pretty much, I would say, mostly watch, like 90% of the wrestling I watch is horrifically bad and intentionally so. I only really catch the mainstream stuff when I either there's like something that's just so heralded where you're like, okay, I really got to check out this match, or if it's like really controversial where everyone is having a conniption fit over this spot or that spot or the new thing about, oh, they're not doing enough of this or whatever. But honestly, other than that, I really like watching like horrible backyarders almost die, you know?
So
like, this is who they have on their show. I mean, that's fine. It's a different perspective. But it is just funny how that's someone they'll platform over there. Like someone who's just like, yeah, I really like the worst ever wrestling. Here, listen to Wrestling Observer Live and study and learn and read and listen. And we got to study these assholes who are like, yeah, I just like to lampoon wrestling. I don't know. It's kind of funny. Kind of funny how that gets pointed out. Speaking of things that get pointed out, Tatum Paxley. I don't know. Tatum Paxley, Taters, says you've met with a terrible fate, haven't you? And she plays a little flute here before we get into the WWE and AEW specifics. Shout out Tatum Paxley. We are on a mission for her to play the Harry Potter theme. I swear she's just building it up. I need to see you guys on fucking X going, Tatum, play the Harry Potter theme. Play the Harry Potter theme. We need it so badly. So here's a song of healing from Tatum Pack, serenading us. Yeah. Flutes in the chat. If someone's listening to this, Ezra, turn this into like a beat, like a hip hop beat. Yeah. Wait.
Or, you know, the young superstar, you know, babyface, you know, the former heel thing. So.
Oh yeah, dude. She had Cuervo
He
with her.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
Let's hear Tiffy Stratton rap to this. Epic. Amazing. Wow. Round of applause for that performance. Just absolutely spectacular. A round of applause. Where's my round of applause? Right here, guys. Oh my goodness. Tatum Paxley. Just absolutely crushing it. Okay, guys. So up next here, we have Dave Meltzer talking about WWE and AEW. And don't forget, there are bonus episodes of Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week over at patreon.com/ProWrestleTimes and other exclusive content over there. And unedited Memba Monday shows are included in there as well. I'm going to get this one clip out of my bookmarks there. And of course, we're on the helm of All In. So Dave was talking about that. And Dave and Bry also agree. They criticize AEW. Dave actually criticizes AEW a little bit. So we are going to get into that. I'm actually quite impressed, but he does so reluctantly. And it would be nice if he would just actually like have a criticism that it doesn't seem as though someone's forcing him to make or admit, you know. It's like trying to give a kid fucking medicine. You got to force them to do it, to take it or whatever. They're like, no, it tastes gross. Yeah, but it'll make you feel better. That's the problem with Dave, right? He wants his goddamn wrestling to be better and be the top show, but he doesn't want to listen to the advice that would enable that to happen. So let's move along here. And let's get more flutes in the chat, okay? Because it is time for Dave to talk shit on WWE a little bit here, okay? And Dave and Bryan had this reaction to Royce Keys returning to Raw with OTM after getting called up from NXT. OTM, of course, was called up from NXT, and I think the group is just being called OTM, including Royce Keys. Like, it's all three of them are out the mud now. So let's take a listen to Dave and Bryan's assessment on this.
Royce Keys returned, and he is now in a trio with OTM.
Mm-hmm.
So that explains why Bronco was kicked out of Perros del Mal on the Triple A show.
And why it was so sudden and made no sense.
Yep.
Well, it didn't make no sense, Dave, because it shows you that Perro del Mal is like a pack of wild wolves as well. I like how this is what Angel Garza was talking about, I believe, right? This is what he was alluding to. I like how it was sudden and out of nowhere and like, what the fuck? He's the biggest, baddest dude in their group, and they just jumped his ass and kicked him out. And we're like, yeah, that's how we fucking roll. Like, this is Perro del Mal. It gives them an air of like, oh God, they're unpredictable and they will turn on their own. They'll eat their own. They're really like wolves, you know? They're really just a pack of savages that'll fucking go against whoever. So it kind of worked for both, because this works way better for Keys to be with these guys over on Raw. And I was saying they need to turn Keys heel, I think, because it's just not whatever they thought they were doing with the whole babyface thing. It just ain't happening. He's like a menacing, big, giant black dude. You got to just have him fucking stomping dudes with boots on, you know, and that's what he's doing now. I just thought, hey, that's what you got to fucking look how much better he looks too. Like, you know, wearing the all black. These guys are all like bandanaed and wearing all black and shit. Like, that's way, it just looks gangster. It looks scary. You know, you gotta fucking run with that. So this works way better for him. And especially with these two gentlemen here, Price and Nema, who, I mean, they gotta look to them. Both of these guys gotta look. They look dangerous. They look badass. They can team. And, you know, all three of these guys might not be the most refined, polished workers on the main roster, but believability and size and shit like that does matter, regardless of what your girl tells you.
They've been called up
because of the idea of, you know, why would you put him in the team to take him out right away? And it's because they made the decision. Obviously, this decision is very recent. You know, not so recent. This the Perros del Mal thing was taped.
Exactly, bro. Like, Dave, shut the fuck up. Don't try and break down. It's what I said. I'm a better analyst than you with your poo-colored sweater, okay?
A week ago Saturday. The angle was shot the week before that.
It benefits both things. It benefits whatever's happening on Raw. It benefits OTM. It benefits Keys. It benefits Perro del Mal, because they jumped this guy the fuck out of the group. And then they're like, yeah, and then they continue along. They can add other members. There's always an element of, oh, they might kick this guy out. They might recruit this guy. They'll come out of nowhere and jump whoever. Like, it adds an element of danger to them that existed in the past. Like the way they fucking jumped whole feds and stuff like that and started their own fed. They were like an NWO type group, and it adds an element of that. So it's a W, but Dave just wants to go, it's a last minute holy fuck decision that, I don't know, man. sometimes those are the best decisions.
So I would say the decision's probably
It's been in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
It's been about a month, I would say.
Because they were also teasing a potential breakup of OTM.
Right.
And
then
like 2 weeks ago, they're back together again.
Right.
Yeah, on NXT.
Right. So I think that's when the whole thing went down, was like, okay, we're bringing him up with Royce Keys, and we got to get him out of
think they're heels, but they attack.
And then Bryan just pulls. This is why I don't give Bryan any slack. He literally doesn't understand what he's watching. These two guys don't understand pro wrestling or what they're watching, bro. They don't even get it. I think they're heels, but yeah, they're the fucking heels. The Bloodline are tweeners. They do heel shit, but we all cheer and love them, and we pop for them, and we love Jacob Fatu, but he does heel shit. We love Roman Reigns, but he's a guy who'll whine to management, but he'll also do shit like, I want to do this on my own, but then he'll 3v1 people and force people to join his group. He's a tweener. LA Knight and Solo Sikoa are the clear-cut baby faces. These guys are clearly the heels. They attacked both of the. They attacked the tweeners and the baby faces. They're the fucking heels. Holy shit, bro!
Back to the heels and the baby faces, and they killed everybody. Mm-hmm. And the fans did boo them, and they did revel in the boos. So
they look to me to be heels.
I think they're
holy fuck, man. Imagine if I spent even 4 seconds questioning whether they were heels or not while breaking this down. Whoa, these are the worst analysts of all time.
I mean, it was very much the playbook of what they do.
And who are they? Like, who is this show for? Like, who's listening to this and going, oh yeah, well, they're for surely the heel. Like, well, what is this for? Who didn't watch it? Is this for people who didn't watch it? So now you're confusing them. You're making people who didn't watch this shit think it was way worse or way dumber than it fucking was. When really you two are just redacts who don't know what a baby face and a heel and a tweener is.
Every couple of years, the same thing with the Shield when they debuted them, and the Nexus, and there's been many others where, it's always big guys and they destroy everyone. And
is Seth a big guy? Is Moxley a particularly big guy? What are you talking about? With Nexus, okay, there were a couple big guys in there, and then there was like Danielson was one of them. You know what I mean? He's 5'10", not even. Dude's like 5'7". What are we talking about here, Dave? What was that guy's name? It wasn't Seidel. It was like Justin Gabriel or something like that was in the Nexus too, was he not? That guy was like flipping around and shit. Is that the right guy? There was like a cruiserweight in there besides Danielson, no? Or like a cruiserweight-esque guy. I don't know. The examples he gave are off, okay? Seth's like flying around doing dives. He's not this big guy who... It's just like when any group invades anything, and typically wrestlers are bigger dudes, Dave. So he's just like, oh, it's just the same thing they do. It's just like the Shield. It's just like, what's it called? Fuck. What did he say? Nexus, which was super over. It's just like the Shield. Oh, so that was super over. So what else, Dave? Give me. So it's going to be something that gets super fucking over, and you're going to seethe about it because.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen.
Because you fucking hate WWE? Like, what is he trying to do? Undermine this? Or, it's some repetitive bull. It's what they always do. Some big guys where, let me give you example of factions where there was like cruiserweights in or light heavyweights who did flipping around moves in the groups too. What a fucking idiot, man.
Sometimes like with the Shield, it paid off and they became giant stars. And obviously that's probably the idea here.
Obviously, that's probably the idea here. Dave, obviously, it's like, they're gonna, turn them into, giant stars. He's like coping over, obviously the idea is to put people on the wrestling show who will become giant stars. No shit, Dave. Ding, 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 ding. Welcome to fucking pro wrestling, bro. Oh my God.
It's interesting investing if this is a long-term thing with Royce,
Now listen to this, Cope. Well, it's interesting investing if this is a long-term thing with Royce because listen to this,
because he's probably like 41, 42 at this point.
And then he's pointing out the age after people called Dave out for lying about Keys' age or whatever the fuck while he was in AEW. But then once he left, he revealed the real age. That was a whole conspiracy that went down. I don't know if you guys remember that. But him going, oh, he's like 42. So is this a good idea to... I don't know. Was it a good idea when 50-year-old Edge started the Judgment Day with 45-year-old Finn Balor and 44-year-old Damian Priest or whatever the fuck? You know what I mean? To get over Dom and Rhea Ripley. I don't know. Was that a good idea, Dave? I don't fucking know. Why don't you tell me, Booker
Stupid
guy?
idiot.
Mr. Booker man? Oh my God. I don't know if this is a good idea. Yeah, it's to get these other two over, and then Keys, it's just going to inevitably, he's going to end up fighting Roman and shit and getting world title shots. I don't know if he'll win one, but yes, it's going to be worth it, Dave. Out the mud or not that old. What are you talking? Is it good for Seth Rollins, who's like long term? He's like 45, man, and everyone else in the group is in their 30s. I don't know, Dave G. Is that a good idea to try and get some younger guys over who are going to be around for 15 years? The next 10 years, hopefully, as fucking big stars, and Royce Keys is hopefully going to be around the next 5 years. I don't know, Dave.
The other two are relatively young and they're big and they're relatively good. Although I
relatively good, so they're relatively good. So like for WWE, they're good.
Did see the Penta match with Royce. I mean with Bronco, and it wasn't that great.
Royce, Bronco, all the same person. They all look like rappers, Brian. They're all Cuervos.
He had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
Oh shit!
At all, it was like I really saw,
And shout out chat for getting the Justin Gabriel in the Nexus there. He was flying around, right? That's Dose's buddy. Shout out Evil Dose.
Not so ready. When he has to do in a single.
I forget his indies name. He has an indies name now. What is it? PJ Black, I think is what it is. Sorry, that's why I didn't want to use his slave name. Yeah, PJ Black. Shout him out.
Of course, in a trios, you can hide that a lot better.
In a trios, you can hide that a lot better.
Royce Keys.
Holy man. So now Dave and Bri kind of cope about like, hey, why does WWE, the whole mentality in wrestling of we can't push you until you paid your dues is just so stupid. And it really fucking isn't. Now they're going to cope over Big Bill beating Javon. And again, man, you want stars. You don't want to just blow your wad and hot shot book every good idea for a fucking character, for a wrestler. If you just throw the world at fucking Javon right away, then time and time again, we've seen that go to people's heads. Dave, did you just watch the Zach Gowen Dark Side of the Ring? He was 19, thrown the world, and he fucked it up by being like, what? I'm a WWE wrestler and shit. So Dave is going to do this cope where he's like this idea in wrestling where you have to pay your dues before you. Okay, so what should Javon be, a world champion right now? He probably doesn't even want that. He would do it if you asked it of him, and he does want it one day, and he will be one day. I believe Javon will reach a world title. If Sammy did it, Javon will do it, And that's not a knock on Sammy. That's like praise, because he's one of the guys where you're like, he might not ever even touch a title. He's like Piper, Was Piper world champion worthy? Yes. Did he need the fucking title? No. Same with Sammy. He never needed a title. He's Sammy fucking Zayn. But him winning it's a fucking feather in his cap, and that's awesome for the fans, and I'm happy he did. It's like, holy shit, Generico made it to the pinnacle, after people written him off when they already thought he should have been at the pinnacle. Think about that. So Javon, man, you have a guy who's like a WWE for life, or he's going to be there the next 25 years Why run? Who's he going to be? Who should he have beaten? Big Bill? Javon has so many big wins already. They're trying to reestablish Bill. Or I guess I'll call him Cass, right? And furthermore, you need top credible threats for titles. And also, what are you going to take the title off Roman or Punk right now? Like, you have some of the biggest names in the business, man, looming around that world title. Javon doesn't need the fucking belt. He needs compelling stories. He needs good feuds. He needs very physical matches that legitimize him, like that match with Big Cass on Raw, where they're throwing, it was a stiff match. They're fucking throwing bones at each other. That's the shit that legitimizes Javon in the long run as well. Okay? Now, again, I don't like how they re-debuted Big Cass. I loved this match between Javon and Cass. The finish didn't really bug me at all. I just don't like how they set up the big boot. I've broken this down a few times already, but just go run sprinting at him like Test. He just like shoved Javon. Javon turns around, big boot, 1, 2, 3. The setup was whack. But if they just set that up better, then yes, I want to see Big Cass finish people with the big boot and the big boss man slam. That's what I want. The Cobb County fucking slam, dude. That's what I want to see him finishing dudes with. Pause. So here is Dave and Bryan just melting down about, they don't push the way wrestling does this, where they don't push guys until way later and stuff. Well, if you have people who are as over as Roman Reigns, then they are going to have world titles, and that's going to sell, and that's going to put more eyeballs on guys like Javon. Wrestlers also used to die way younger, Dave, than they do now. They used to leave their peak. They used to not be able to go until they were 50 back in the fucking day. Do you want that too? To come back to Luthez. Remember Brian screwed Luthez. What did they do?
There was not.
And this is the thing too. They're like, call Javon up already. And then Javon fucking gets called up. Still not good enough. Brian, Dave are going to cry about it. He's called up finally. Not good enough. He can't, who's he going to beat right now for the IC? Chad Gable? Maybe Javon beats Chad Gable down the line. But Gable was El fucking Grande. He was El Grande. Original. Did you not see the piece of business that he just did with El Grande Americano? You have to reward that. And he's way longer in the tooth. He's way more tenured than Javon is. Chad Gable's running with the belt so he can help make some of these guys. Javon might be the guy who gets the belt off him. We don't even fucking know. But you got everybody talking about Javon and Big Bill right now. Big Cass. So Dave and Bry are just bitter that Cass is getting pushed at all because he left Wubs. He left our son, Tony Khan.
Best guys, Tony Khan.
And so they're just going to try and find something to be bitter about Big Cass getting a win. I promise you that's all this is.
Chance in the world that Javon wasn't losing that match.
He didn't just lose to Cass. He got pinned by a boot. And he got his ass kicked again after.
I hate this. He didn't just lose, but he got pinned by a big boot, and then he got his ass kicked. Yes, but did you see Javon whooping Cass's ass? When I went on Twitter, because I watched Raw later, and I saw a couple spoilers by accident, and I saw a tweet, and I think it was Fadeaway Media posted, Big Cass beat Javon Evans with one big boot, period. #Raw. And I went, wow, so the match is he just big boots him and finishes him 1, 2, 3, like just big boot, match over. So then I watched Raw, and then I watched the match, and I was like, oh, what the fuck were people worried about? Now I was a little pissed because I knew that the big boot was coming at some point, but it's like, so what are people mad about? They had a crazy physical match. It showed another side of Javon where he's like fighting. He's actually like scrapping as an underdog baby face that you're like, yes, kick his leathery ass. Javon's throwing bones at him outside in the corner there in the barricade and things like this. It was just an awesomely physical match. He busted Big Bill's mouth open and shit. It was like, damn, you're showing like a mean streak a little bit for Javon. That's awesome to see. I thought it elevated both guys. I think this match was really solid, and they're just playing it off like, oh, it was just one big boot. The way everybody's phrasing this, like, okay. No, it was like a very intense physical match, and then the big boot was the finish.
Afterwards.
If he pile drove him, would that be good, or does he need to one-winged angel him through a table off the apron through a flaming table? Like, what do you need for it to be the fin? I just don't understand.
And they even went to the announcer afterwards. She goes, "Rough night for Javon."
Yeah.
I was like, "It's been a rough 2 years, dude."
Yeah. Well, I mean,
A rough 2 years. He's just super fucking over. Crowd goes nuts for Bouncy. He's selling 6-7 shirts to a bunch of folks.
Too young.
That's another issue. But
do you realize they're doing a storyline with him where, like, there was a moment, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but you
guys are ahead of yourselves by just inventing he's too young, so he's not getting pushed. Okay, then explain Tiffany Stratton. Why is Tiffany Stratton in her 20s talking about when she's 35 she's gonna retire, and she's already won the United States title, the women's title, the fucking multiple times? Explain Tiffany Stratton then. Or are you just looking at this one situation, Bri, because you're a phony fraud phony, and Dave is too, and that's your boss, that's your dad, okay? And are you just looking at and cherry picking one example of a guy who's in a very stacked men's WWE title? Both of the title pictures are super stacked. You have guys like Rhodes who don't even have belts because there's so many guys who are over, so many big name fucking talents, and you're just cherry picking one thing. Meanwhile, you could look at Tiffany Stratton and go, well, they gave her the world at Luthez. Remember Luthez? He was like 25. He won the title. Well, then explain Stratton. Explain Trick Williams. Apparently, he's getting pushed up to the WWE title picture. He already was in it. He was in the WWE title tournament already. Fucking around with Orton and stuff. He's too young. Okay.
It was so bad. Dave is the devil. Oh.
Pummeling, like, Big Cass on the outside. He's pummeling him in the announce timekeepers area, and the announcers are like, he's showing that he's grown up. He's a man now. I was like, dude, the guy's like 21. He's maybe 22, and like, it's so bad to be 22 that, like,
that shouldn't be bad.
I know, but it is. It's like, he's got to prove he's not a young guy anymore. He's not a kid. I'm like, dude, he's still 22. Like, they want him to show that he's a man now and not a kid.
This whole mentality in wrestling is so backwards.
It's so bad. It's so bad.
It's it's the mentality that's so bad. It's just like, you got to pay your dues for 10 years. And
it's the mentality that's so bad. Yeah, that is what Brian was saying, you idiot. You got to pay your dues for 10 years. Who said that? So did Stratton pay her dues for 10 years? What about Lyra? What about Jade? The fuck are we talking about? These guys are absolutely coping and absolutely seething. Shout out the gentleman in chat for shouting me out and saying that you've been listening since the beginning and all of that. What was it? I saw the chat go by. You know who you are. Shout you out. I can't find it now. But yes, segment turn show. Everybody's favorite segment turn show. But Dave is just coping right now.
You are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
It's like, that's, one of the things that draws like the younger audience, teenagers and stuff, is
young wrestlers.
Right. So Javon's featured all over the show, and he wears a shirt that says 6'7" on it. And he has a ton of notable wins. So you guys just want him to have a belt? So should it be like AEW where they just create a belt so everybody has a belt so they can claim everyone's legitimate? Or do you want him to get legitimized off his own merit, the quality of matches, the physicality? Oh, imagine that. He flies around and they go, oh, now you're going to have a really physical match to show a mean streak and another side of you to help get you more over. And so Dirty Dom, what happened with Dirty Dom? Did he put 10 years in the biz? Is Dirty Dom not over with teens? What about Liv Morgan? I was just at a live show, and when Liv Morgan came out, every fucking woman and teenage and little girl was singing her song, Trouble, Trouble, that's me. And for Dom, a bunch of younger folks were cheering for him and not booing him. He's a champion. He was the IC champ. He beat John Cena. So, like, what the fuck are these two idiots talking about? This whole mentality that only exists in, because it exists more in AEW. And so you just want to blanket put it across wrestling. You can't just cherry pick these things. You just look fucking stupid when you guys do this.
Young guys, young women. And it's like the women, they'll move up as quick as they can because women, it's so much looks based. But
my God, women is looks based. And so they'll just move them up as quick as they can because they're looks based. And men aren't. So they're not pushing Big Bill hard because the way he looks compared to Javon, which even Javon will tell you that's a big motherfucker right there who's in tremendous shape. Come on, Dave. And then look at Jordan Grace. So we talked about on PWT Live Show, Time Cop. Jordan Grace is doing a research paper as to why women get pushed. Or not get pushed, but like succeed more in the developmental programs, if you will, of pro wrestling. Like in WWE, why are women excelling in like the developmental element of pro wrestling quicker and better than the men are? Why do they adapt better to it when they're coming from other sports and stuff like that? And Jordan Grace pointed out, like, dudes are often, it's about their looks and their size and shit. So again, Dave is just coping so goddamn hard.
And even then, you know, they don't rush it. You know, I mean, like, whatever, you know, I mean, like Kendall Gray should be upright.
So like Tiffany Stratton, who all the Gooners are like, she's the hottest bitch ever, man. She's like a Barbie. So her, again, talking about retiring at 35 and at the age of 25 accomplished what most women's wrestlers won't ever accomplish. And she's not really fucking hot as well.
Now, right? But, you know, we got a good year because she has to do her year in NXT. But
so Jade Cargill isn't attractive and she had to do a year in NXT, or are you just making shit up, bud?
Yeah, I mean, as far as, I mean, you in theory, you really want some guys that are 21, 22, a few of them that are like stars, not, oh, they're on the roster. On the roster doesn't mean.
Okay, but becoming a star, dude, you have to build to that. You have to build that up. So they're talking about Javon as if like he's the Rock right now. He's not. I can name like 10 guys more over than him. He's over. It's kind of a problem, and it's a good problem to have. But with WWE, you got so many people that are fucking over. So what do you want them to not push LA Knight? Everybody loves Javon, right? We're all WWE drones or whatever they call us here at PWT, Club PWT, right? We all love Javon for the most part, right? It's all subjective, but for the most part, I think generally we all love Javon. Should they push LA Knight before? Who's more over, LA Knight or Javon? Take age out of it. Who the fuck, just based on overness and crowd reaction, who are you pushing? The fuck are we talking about, Dave? Like
much of shit of anything. You know, it's just like if you have whatever it is, it's the people in the top mix that makes the difference. And
exactly. That's why Javon ain't there. You just like flips. And I love Javon, and he's not just flips, which is what this match showcased. And instead of praising him for that, you guys are just pointing out how they don't push young people, but then you're just not addressing all the young people they push.
And, you know, Javon's going to be in the top mix. It just might be 8 years from now.
God.
Just might be 8 years from now. Well, what if it's 5? What if it's 3? So what about Obafemi? He put 10 years in, and he's going to be in the top mix in 10 years from now. He's not in the top mix being involved in angles with fucking Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman.
We had Ray
Yeah,
Phoenix.
it might be quicker than that. It might be 3. But it ain't
Might be 3. There you go.
going to be now.
It ain't
There's
going to be
not-
now. Yeah, well, there's 100 guys more over than him, stupid. So why would it be now? Why would it be now? Might be 3. Oh, it could be 8 years. Could be 3. Yeah, exactly. How about a few guys retire here? How about Truth and Priest and a few of these fucking guys need to retire? And then there's some spots open up and then Javon can be like, the fuck are you talking about, man? Just a mentally ill demon. And then and then Brian's just, God, you guys are thinking about WWE like it's Vince McMahon still. It's not Vince McMahon. Okay? It doesn't operate that way as badly as you guys wish it fucking did. Jeepers. So, in WWE, this story broke here, okay? That revolves around WWE, and we covered it yesterday. Time Cop, the burial of BJ Bethel, Triple B, as it's come to be known, as the streets are calling it, Triple B. And Jimmy Corderas had this to say about it. And Dave, we talked about this a little bit. He propped up BJ Bethel. So not only is Dave's credibility shot now because BJ Bethel, what had happened if you guys aren't familiar, BJ Bethel, the guy who invented the 500,000 viewers on HBO Max, he completely lied about a story and even stooged that he reached out to the ESPN fan AI bot assistance fan chat that you go to, like, hey, my login's not working, and you go to the AI bot chat. That's who he asked for comment, and he just readily admitted it and linked people to the actual link he used. It's like let's say you're on Ticketmaster, you're buying tickets to a show, and like your thing's not being accepted, or they go, oh, like the seat's gray, you select it, and it's like you can't pick that seat. And then you got to go to the bot and go, hey, there's like a glitch. What's going on? Can you assist me or something? It's like a fan support line that he contacted. And he said, oh, I got no response from them. So not only did he not even get it, he didn't even get a fucking response from these people. Okay. It's like if you order a hoodie off ESPN and it doesn't come on time. And then you go, hey, here's my tracking number. And it's like a bot helps you figure it out. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay. That's what he reached out to source this story, where he claims that ESPN is already talking about and have already informed. He might have even said that they informed WWE that when the 4 years is up, so they're in the first year of a 5-year deal. So in the next 4 years or whatever, they're roughly 4 years out from the deal being up. And then come this September, right? It'll be that's the first full year this September. So we're approaching, there's about 4 years left on the deal. And he just lied and said that a source told him that ESPN's unhappy and that they're going to not continue their deal with WWE after the 4 years. And so he wrote this article on SE Scoops. SE Scoops posted it. They then deleted it. They then gave a full public retraction after ESPN media guy his name's Ben, ESPN Ben. I think his Twitter handle's Ben_ESPN. He tweeted out that nobody at ESPN was contacted about this, and they deny it. No, this isn't true. So again, we pointed out when Niccolo Piccolo says what he said about WBD, all we got was Sean Sapp going, a source told me that in no professional capacity did they tell Tony Khan anything. And it's like, well, Nick didn't say it was in a professional capacity, and then nobody from Warner Bros. Denied it. Well, in WWE's case, ESPN directly denied that this was the fucking case. Directly shot it down publicly. So then SE Scoops put out a statement. And also they taunted Niccolo Piccolo in the past, being like, you can debate BJ Bethel and he's a wrestling historian, and we're so lucky to have a profound, fucking prolific journalist and wrestling historian on our team. That's what they said, like last year, talking shit. So SE Scoops had to retract and delete the story in its entirety. Then they fired BJ Bethel. It was so
baby, learn Meltzer Inferno.
it was so epic. And then you have idiots like John Alba going, well, I doubt this happened. Fox knew that within 1 year, that they were going to, years in advance, that they were getting rid of WWE. And then people were like, wrong. WWE went and got a 40% increase elsewhere. You're wrong. You're dumb. And so he signal boosted the idea, the notion that it could possibly even be true that this is the case with ESPN. Right? And then you had Garrett Gonzalez. So Dave's side piece, to tie it to Dave Meltzer, dumb moment of the week here. Dave's side piece. So Bryce's wife, always nagging him and shit. Garrett's Dave's side piece. He just lets Dave say whatever. And he goes, yeah, it's great, Dave, blah, blah, blah. So Garrett, after the fucking story was already exposed to be fake and before Bethel got fired, Garrett had BJ on his show to explain a fake thing that he fucking made up that isn't even real. Okay? And now Garrett's going to get it, too.
He had a Cuervo with him the whole time, too.
I roast all these guys. I'm like, Garrett's chill, whatever. He's the side piece. Nope, no longer. He's under investigation here at PWT. So, it's a whole federal thing. I can't talk about it. So Jimmy Corderas had this to say. He goes, by the way, Dave propped Bethel up in the past. And also he tried to protect Bethel in this too. He's like, well, not that it's, whatever the fuck. It doesn't matter. When Dave sit there and goes, 470K is possible. Where is he getting that from? BJ Bethel's 500K. And Dave Meltzer himself has quoted SE Scoops and quoted that article. He has taken that link and responded the link from the article of BJ Bethel talking about the 500K on Max. And now SE Scoops, their credibility's gone. Because how many stories did Bethel do this in the past where he just made shit up and you guys let him publish it? You don't even know, because this is the steps he takes, and this is what he's been doing for years. He thinks that's appropriate this many fucking years into doing journalism. He thinks that's how you do it, is reaching out to a fucking AI chatbot fan support line. He's a fucking idiot. And so he tanked his credibility. The 500K on Max disappeared. Dave has been alluding to it for years now. You guys know this. For like going on 2 years now or whatever the fuck, whenever that article came out. Dave has linked people to that article. Dave has said, I never said that, but, and then he starts explaining how 470K and 500K could be possible. And it's based off that article. That's where he's getting it from. Now, remember, BJ Bethel apparently knows Tone from back in the day. My theory is, allegedly, in my opinion, it's from the message boards. That's my opinion. I don't know how else Skibbity, Ohio would fucking know Tone, right? I think they're just message board marks. That's how Tone knows Dave. That's how the Rovert guy that we talked about earlier, that fucking sicko, that's how he ties into Dave and Bix and fucking Tone and BJ Bethel. They're all scratching each other's back. They're all fucking sickos. And they're in this weird incestuous bubble. Okay? And we've connected all the dots. And BJ is a legitimate AEW shill. Full blown. Okay? And it's people like Dave and Tone are the only reason anybody took that guy serious. He just tanked his credibility, which means Dave's credibility's tanked as well, because he refers to his fucking numbers all the time. And we see how that guy sources shit. And also, Tone's credibility's tanked. SE Scoops' credibility's tanked, if it wasn't already. Now, here's what Jimmy Corderas says. Shout out Jimmy Corderas, friend of the show. Jimmy says, just an FYI, after chatting with people actually in the TV industry, no one in the history of broadcasting rights hasn't any broadcaster ever even discussed ending any rights 4 years prior to the current agreement ending. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am stuck in the middle with you, and I don't know why I came here tonight. Got the feeling that it's dynamite. I'm so scared because Moxley's swinging a chair and Darby hurl himself down the stairs. We got Alan to the left of me. Bruv is to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with Dave, right? Turn this shit off. I'm saying, please. Let's go. So Jimmy Corderas pointing this out, right? And who knows if any company, who knows if you can definitively say that, but like, whatever. Nobody's saying that about WWE. And John Alba tried to be like, I know that Fox definitely wanted out 1 year early. And it's like, you're just an idiot. And so Meltzer goes, not giving credence to the story. But so Dave even is like, oh, yeah, I can't lend any credibility to that fucking story because it just blew up in his face and got him fired, even though I've been citing that guy myself for a long fucking time when I try to cope over Dynamite beating Raw in the ratings. So he goes, I don't want to give credence to the story, but let me defend this guy who fucking got fired and tanked a website because he's such a dumbass. This is Dave right here. This is Dave. Mid-range 24 became a new member.
He had Corvo with him the whole time, too.
Guys, join, get access to bonus shows. But, you must have not talked to anyone who knows U.S. television. People try and get out of contracts early that aren't working all the time. Dave, name one instance and prove it and verify it. Otherwise, shut up. Because you cite Bethel. Bethel asks fan support. Bethel tanks his career, his credibility, and you're going the same way. Point blank period. You don't know shit about television. Let me repeat it. You don't know shit about television. Let me repeat that one more time. Niccolo Piccolo says you don't know shit about television. And Niccolo Piccolo, who knows shit about television movies, he said, hey, Warner Bros. Gave a hookup to Tone and told him, look, at the end of the year, which is coming up, we ain't renewing your shit. It's 1 year out. Dave and them are trying to pretend that 5 years or 4 years out of a fucking deal being up there deciding on this stuff. Dave had a 5-minute meltdown, 10-minute long meltdown, 20-minute long meltdown where he couldn't even say Nick's name like he's Lord fucking Voldemort. Low Pickamort, right? Lord Low Piccolo. You can't even say his fucking name. And you have a meltdown about it. No, it's fake. And then you're melting down about real NFL journalists writing about how, yeah, this is what happened. This is sources are telling me this is what happened with WBD. Dave's melting down, arguing with real credible journalists about shit. Meanwhile, this story comes out. Dave does not melt down. He shows up to defend it and White Knight it and Batman it. Na, Brian. Na, Tony. Davey. And now he's going to defend this shit. He's not going to have a 12-minute meltdown. He'll mention BJ Bethel by name, or maybe he won't to try and protect his friend's credibility. But it's like, you all just goofed up with this, man. And then Corderas goes, that's not what was reported, Dave. He said at the end of the deal, which is 4 years from now. And by the way, Canadian broadcasters do not work differently from the U.S. counterparts. But thanks as always for your input and try to craft another bit of misinformation. And again, he just goes, oh, you're Canadian, so you don't know about U.S. television. Dave, it's the same thing. Okay, like what the fuck are you talking about? Jimmy Corderas was on Sportsnet for like years doing WWE preview shows and stuff like this. He knows way more about it than you. Okay, have you reffed The Rock Austin or whatever? The Rock Hogan or whatever, dude? No, then shut the fuck up. You ain't done shit. You're not unwanted on TV. You got to cry about why people don't want you on TV anymore. So AEW's deal is out in 1 year, basically, a year and a bit. And Nick said, hey, they just gave him a shout out. They were like, hey, Tone, here's a hookup. Like, we ain't renewing your shit. We'll even sell you back the chunk if you want, and you can go look around for whatever. We're just letting you know. It's finished, right? We're not going to renew this for the 1 year. Oh, all these meltdowns. Oh, they don't know, it's too far away. Why would they say that? There's absolutely no truth to this, and blah, 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 blah. WBD doesn't say shit. All we get is Sap going, well, a source told me they didn't tell him in any professional capacity. Yeah, Nick didn't say that they told him that in a professional capacity. You just proved him right. Because they're sitting there, and any credible journalist or reporter would look at the way they phrased the shit, the vernacular they used. In no professional capacity did we tell Tone anything. And that's just according to a source. Nobody outright said that. Meanwhile, Ben Cafardo at Ben_ESPN, the fucking ESPN communications head of NBA Finals, MLB.TV, WWE Premium Live Events, Little League World Series, executive communications, and more, works for Disney. He came out and said this is entirely false, and BJ Bethel got fired. And it's 5 or 4 years away. He's talking about. Where's the meltdowns? Dave, I don't want to end any credence, but let me try and talk shit to you, Jimmy. And then you just get pwned and felted again because you're a fucking loser. God, I can never get enough of this. I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. So speaking of not being able to get enough, Dave Meltzer, dude, he's encouraging Tone to sign on Dragunov. And Dave and the sickos and Tone cannot get enough of Tone signing ex-WWE.
The best guy is Tony Khan.
Now, Time Cop this Sunday is all in, and the only shit we've heard about is Edge talking about John Cena, Big Show talking about and getting called out by NXT talent, Will Ospreay talking about how he doesn't like WWE and calling out The Rock, MJF talking about WWE radio. Is Kairi Sane, ex-WWE Kairi Sane, going to AEW? Is ex-WWE New Day going to AEW and how they're going to be on the pre-show with a fucking pay-per-view? Is ex-WWE Dragunov going to be in AEW? This is all anyone's talking about. All in, you should call the show All WWE, because that's all anybody's talking about, okay? It's just WWE, 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 WWE. You got Ricochet talking about WWE. It's just everyone's talking about WWE. Okay. How is that how you promote your biggest show? It's actually the dumbest shit ever, right? And if I'm Tone, I'm like, or if, if I have, if I work for this company and I'm grinding there, I'm going, what the hell? Give me 1 second, guys. I'm here, honey. I'm back. Sorry, someone at the door. So no Jericho. No, you guys, I don't do that on Dave Meltzer. I could have just hit you with the coping song, but no, I just your boy Phil had to get the door there. So as I was saying, it's just all of this talk about WWE, WWE, ex-WWE, who's coming to All In, who's going to be at All In, WWE, WWE. Right? We've established that. There's more examples. I can't even think of them all. But Ilja Dragunov falls into the category of it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. It ain't that hard to choose between Sheamus and Dragunov. I think that's how the song goes, right? Because Dave's like, oh, nope, we're not bringing Sheamus in. They got to be smart. You got a nickel and dime Tone. And they're talking about all these contracts are going to expire in AEW right away. and they're going to let go all these people, and they're nickel and dime. Of course, Sheamus, who, if you guys know who he's represented by, they're going to nickel and dime him. Nope, we can't bring that guy in. Can't do business with that guy, but Dragunov's a no fucking brainer. So he can join the Bumbaclaw clan or shoot punch Kingston in the face and fucking injure him again. So Dave goes, is there an easier layup than Dragunov to AEW? Why would that be a layup? So he can beat up and injure more people on your fucking roster and outshine everybody, or so Tone can book him in ROH, or so he can get stabbed in the head with scissors and then be a guy who stabs people in the head with scissors in Minecraft, right? Like, what are you going to do with him? Stick him in fucking ROH? Where's the machine guns? I thought that was a layup. I thought all the sickos were like, oh, MCMG versus New Day, MCMG versus Edge and Christian, MCMG versus the Bucks, MCMG versus FTR. So what's Ilja going to do? You guys are going to make your fantasy list? He's not going to wrestle anybody? And if he wrestles Kenny, Kenny's going to be out for 6 months because he's all fucking banged up as it is?
Has there
Ilja
ever
Dragunov
been an easier layup than Dragunov to AEW, or are there too many people and not enough time?
There's a lot on the Dragunov thing where I've seen all these people outraged.
Who's outraged? Nobody's outraged.
And going like, oh, how can he draw? He was never given a chance. And it's like, well, you know, I don't know what the numbers are. But, you know, and obviously, again, from a WWE standpoint, they would want you to think that he was overpaid. But they did, in fact.
No, they don't want anyone to think he's overpaid, you idiot. WWE doesn't want, from a WWE standpoint, you want them to think they're overpaid. No, from Dave Meltzer's WWE, from Dave Meltzer's standpoint on WWE, you want people to think that they think everyone's overpaid. They don't think you're overpaid because they go, we're going to offer you less fucking money. The way Dave's trying to say it, it's just, look, we don't use you that much. We don't have plans for you in the future. Here's what we offer you. We want you to stay. You got to take less money. You can choose to take it or not. It's still better money than most fucking wrestlers. So they're not trying to convince Dragunov, you're overpaid here, buddy. It's just like, look, we are not going to use you, but we still want to keep you around. You know, we're pushing Trick. We're pushing Corbin. There's these other guys. We'll offer you the same money, or maybe here's a little less. And you can take it or not take it. It's not a big deal. And so Dave, again, it's just like, so Tone can pay this guy way more. So are people not overpaid in AEW, Dave? Are people not overpaid in AEW? Who's drawing in AEW? So if Dragunov goes to AEW, and then just gets relegated to Ring of Honor, basically. Or he's doing what Ciampa's doing now. Ciampa's making more money than he was in WWE to be in AEW and do what he's doing now. So let's say they book Dragunov the same way. What happens? He just becomes Ricochet in 6 months where he's just doing nothing and they got nothing for him? Or he's got to bleed like Moxley and stab people with scissors and shit and they got nothing for him? They're going to fucking... He's going to become Claudio, where they just barely use him. But when they do, it's like, oh, this guy's a badass, and they just barely use it. Or he's going to go to Ring of Honor, and he's going to get paid double. Is that not getting overpaid? Nobody draws in AEW. Nobody actually draws. Tone's talking about, All In's almost at $6 million. Okay, so you almost could pay for the Bucks, both Bucks this year. Good on you, Tone. What is okay? So they're not being overpaid? You mean to tell me Swerve isn't being overpaid, or Ospreay isn't being overpaid for what they're drawing? You mean to tell me the Bucks' executive decisions as executive vice presidents and what they've actually drawn for AEW, that's not being overpaid on NBA level salaries? The fuck you talking about?
Agree to the number, right?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe they just felt that, you know, now, with the guys they have, you know, I mean, maybe they feel he wasn't worth the number anymore. He's a great wrestler. You know, as far as, I mean, I honestly think that stylistically he fits in better with New Japan than AEW. But And he's not a game changer or anything, but
A game changer. Dave is such a boomer. He still says game changer.
Stupid idiot.
Nobody says game changer anymore.
I mean, as far as a guy to come in and do unbelievable matches with some of the guys there, I mean, yeah, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think you should be at Wembley, you know, even if it's just like a, you know, you do a 2-month, you know, I guess no one wants to do a 2-month thing, but you know, whatever, you know, if they can come
a 2-month thing, I guess no one wants. So he's like, bring Dragunov in for 2 months. Because even Dave knows Tone won't do shit with him.
If they can come to terms and it's a price that Tony Khan believes is a viable price, yes, it's a layup. He should be there. He's great.
A layup for what? To go and have like some great matches with some guys. Okay. That's what everybody does. That's what Ricochet did. Look what he's doing, getting overpaid to sit and do nothing. So they follow up, and I guess Tony Khan had nothing but praise for Ilja Dragunov. And again, this is just one of the headlines. Like, is Dragunov coming into AEW? That's all anybody cares about. They want to see WWE guys show up at All In. And Tone already fucked up. He's already got the New Day debuting because, again, people go, WWE just sticks the same race wrestlers together. And it's like, well, what is Tone doing? He stuck Keith Lee with fucking Swerve because, and now he's sticking Swerve with the New Day because, and it's on the pre-show. So the New Day are debuting on the fucking pre-show, on the YouTube pre-show, dude.
Tony Khan, in several interviews, has been effusive with praise of Ilja Dragunov to the point where...
In several interviews or just one recently?
I am pretty much expecting that he's winding up.
Dave, he didn't say this in many interviews. He said this to you on the phone because you text and call him. And so you going, he is absolutely, I'm pretty sure he's coming in. Just say Tone's signing him. He said he's
guys, Tony Khan.
Tone told me he's gonna. The worst part about this shit is how Dave pretends like he doesn't talk to Tone when we all know he does.
In AEW. I mean, just talking over and over about how he is this great, incredible wrestler, which he is, you know, but I just don't see him being, you know, and saying that like, you know, but we don't know what his contractual situation is. So, you know, which may be, you know, I don't know. I just put it this way. Based on what he is saying, I am certain that there will be a big offer for Ilja Dragunov. And he's a free agent already. His deal expired on August 20th. So he's been a free agent for several days now.
Well, we do have the gauntlet match coming up at Wembley.
So how would he know all that unless Tone told him? August 20th, he's been a free agent.
Yeah. I'm not like, you know, when it came to like Woods or Consequences Creed, Austin Creed and Kofi, it was like, I really think, you know, and I mean, they haven't advertised them. There's a few people who kind of talk. Maybe it's them, kind of is, whatever. It's not big enough. It's not selling any tickets at all. You know, the idea that they're going to be there. I don't know with Ilja. I don't know that even if they told people, it would be so much of a ticket seller, difference maker to where, like, that's one where if you want to do a surprise, I can get it.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not, he's not a, so Dave just goes, people are saying, oh, he couldn't be a star and blah, blah, blah. And then Dave just goes, he's not a ticket mover. He's not a real serious guy. So you could use him as a surprise. What? So you just bury him and pretty much tell fucking Tony he's not a ticket mover, but he could have some bangers. I think he'll be in AEW, but I don't really know. And maybe they could use him as a surprise. But he doesn't move tickets, so that's a guy you use as a surprise. I don't know, man. Dave is just an idiot. He just can't help but insult people while thinking he's putting them over. And so Dave Meltzer had this to say. The Wrestling Observer newsletter said, essentially, Ilja Dragunov signed what was termed a very good WWE contract, and it was coming due. In talks over a new deal, the sides were far enough apart that the decision was made in April not to use him anymore. He would be free to wrestle anywhere at this point, as there's no non-compete for a contract running out. And then the Maharaja, Raj the Maharaja, don't hinder Jinder Mahal goes, there's no such thing as a 90-day non-compete clause. Even when you get released, WWE is giving you 90 days as notice that your contract is being terminated. You remain under contract and continue getting paid during that period. Once the 90 days are up, you're free to work anywhere. And obviously, if your contract simply expires, you're free to work anywhere immediately. So he just kind of clarifies the way people word these things and the way these journalists kind of phrase these things. And he's like, hold up. So now Dave Meltzer glazes AEW to death. He also is critical of AEW a little bit. Now, it's mostly Bryan prying it out of Dave. He has to pry the criticism out of Dave. Dave can't ever come out and criticize AEW. He really needs Bry to push him to the limit to do it. And even some of this stuff is becoming indefensible for old dusty Dave Meltzer. And he talks about how deep Will Ospreay and Omega go with fingers in each other's bums in Japan. I mean, with how deep they go storytelling wise. And he offers no examples of how it's so deep and nuanced. And it really isn't. It's surface level garbage that has been already done multiple times in AEW. And also it is surface level garbage that is flip-flopping around who's babyface and heel, because Tone doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He doesn't know time management. So before we get into all of that, here is Bryan criticizing Darby Allin, saying exactly what I was saying about him as well. He's a fucking Looney Tunes cartoon. He's Wile E. Coyote. This is exactly what I said about him. Hey, what is he going to do next? Pull a string and a piano falls on his head? You know, he's the fucking Wet Bandits. He's a goofball and people don't get it. Like, he's just a goofball. He's just a jackass guy. You guys fucked up. You had someone who was over. Punk saw something in this kid, had a great match with him. There's something to be said about Darby and how physical he can be. And when he has, I thought MJF and Darby had a great match. Again, they had to do stupid shit, jumping off ladders and stuff, and steel step pile drivers and shit. But MJF got a good match out of him. CM Punk got a good match out of him. But he's just become a Looney Tunes cartoon character. What's next? His next opponent's going to paint a tunnel on a wall, and then Darby's going to skateboard into it and then splat on the wall, realizing it's not a real tunnel. It's just a painting of it. And then a train's going to roll through it after. And you know what I mean? Like, he's just a goofball at this point. And this shit was phony. And I got multiple DMs, messages, tagged in tweets, maybe not tagged, but people responding on Twitter and comments under my videos and in the live chat going, Phil, I was at this show. You couldn't see shit. You couldn't see anything. And then they did this whole long overrun and the smoke was permeated the building and you couldn't see anything. People just started leaving.
Darby comes out on the ramp. Darby then gets blown up with pyro. He's dead. He's thrown into the ring. Kevin gives him a coast-to-coast with a chair on his face. They do the whole stretcher job for Darby. This, by the way, I think it's like 9:58, 2 minutes before the top of the hour. They're doing this long-ass stretcher job. And they finally go to a commercial. They come back, and they're still getting him backstage. When he gets backstage, a man who was not identified until the segment was over appears. It's Sting's son, Steve Borden.
Stephen Borden. Well, Darby on Saturday started building up him, so I knew he was going to be on TV imminently.
He stands there next to Darby. Kevin walks up. They stare at each other for a long time. And finally, the doctor goes, let's get this guy out of here. This was very awkward. And I don't think we needed an explosion, a long-ass stretcher job. It was just weird.
I agree. By the way,
these guys.
I don't think that match needed an explosion at this point.
Especially
Plus-
because Darby is blown.
I don't think that match needed an explosion at this point.
Up like he's Wile E. Coyote. It's like none of this means anything to anybody. He gets blown up, he gets run over, he gets thrown off something, he gets whatever, and he's back the next show.
But I mean, the whole thing is number one, it's not a main event. Okay.
Yeah, okay, but why is that excuse? There's always an excuse. Well, it's not the main event, so unless you're the main event, nothing matters. That's not true, Dave. Go to WrestleMania 18. Hogan Rock meant more than Jericho Triple H. Some people would argue that Austin Hall meant more than Jericho Triple H. The fuck are you talking about, man?
The whole thing is number one, it's not a main event. Okay.
He's just
Number
coping,
two,
man. This is so fucked.
Quite frankly, the grudge aspect of the match was good enough without throwing the bull, that type of pyro stuff. And when you have like a strong grudge and a story, when you throw in the supernatural stuff, it just makes it fake pro wrestling. It makes it into the carnival show rather than the serious thing. And there's a time for that too, but I don't think that Wembley Stadium is the time. So yeah, I think that in that case, I think that's an angle that didn't need to be there.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, come on, man. I didn't think it needed to be there, but it's not the main event. But, people are going to say it's silly, and I didn't think it needed to be there, but AEW is not silly. How dare you
Darby
say
comes
that
out on the ramp.
nobody's going to want this shit on their TV? And it's like, geez, Dave, this is like the millionth thing he's done that's stupid. That's Wile E. Coyote-ish, by the way. You understand that, right, Dave? This is like the 700th fucking stupid, dumb thing he's done, and it's all just piled up, and it's just not even him. There's like other wrestlers too who've done all this stupid dumb shit that's just piled up, and people think it's just utterly ridiculous and insane and juvenile. Holy fuck. So Wrestling Rob at Rob_Bohannon says, isn't the whole point of a TV show to pull in viewers? So this is from, I want to say, last week's Dynamite that they're discussing here. Here's Dave and Bryan kind of trying to rack their brains, Bryan, around Dynamite as of late. And even Dave kind of concedes, like, yeah, it's getting kind of bad. It's kind of kooky and bizarre. I don't think he says bad, but we'll save that here. But this clip, let's see what they had to say about last week's Dynamite. That Bryan's been sour. Bryan's trying, but he is also a goofball, right? But he still gets the... like Dave even has a bass flute, but he is definitely a goofball. Paul Carpenter 7844 has been a member.
He had a Cuervo with him the whole time too.
And guys, become a member of the YouTube channel. I do bonus shows weekly, and patreon.com/Pro Wrestle Times for bonus Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week. So let's jump into this clip.
The Wednesday show was the lowest since the NBA playoffs. Going long, obviously hurt. We knew that going in. Tony knew that going in too. It's not a secret. He felt it was more important to get as much as hype as he could, for the various matches, not just the main event, but the various matches. And so he felt it was worth going long and sacrificing the ratings to do more hype. I mean, there's the numbers. It would have been in the regular.
Sacrificed the ratings to do more hype.
Oh my God, Bryan! Oh, what a good clip.
Justin, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT
and
flutes.
No, this is so good, man. Bry can't believe. Bry is stun locked right now. He can't believe what Dave just said.
And so he felt it was worth going long and sacrificing the ratings to do more hype. I mean,
imagine if WWE sacrificed the ratings to do more hype. How is sacrificing the ratings bringing more hype? Wouldn't increasing the ratings bring more hype?
Retard alert! Retard alert, class!
Oh my God,
matches.
Dave.
And so We felt it was worth going long and sacrificing the ratings to do, more hype. I mean, there's, the numbers, it would have been in the regular.
Sacrificed the ratings to do more hype.
To do more hype because the most important thing is the pay-per-view number for
that. Why? Okay, so if the television ratings are higher, then the pay-per-view number is going to be higher. Oh my God.
Papers everywhere in this
Dave
room.
is fucked.
for Sunday and of course ticket sales as well. Actually, like on a show like this.
But when you
Whoa. So wouldn't the rate increasing the ratings also mean better ticket sales? And here's the thing, he's trying to defend his son Tony Khan. So Tone decided that, and he's the all-infallible, all-seeing eye of pro wrestling, just like me. And so he's infallible and he can never be questioned, and his booking is the greatest of all time. And so this kid who doesn't know shit about the TV or pro wrestling business decided he should sacrifice ratings for hype, Brian. And he's trying to explain it as if so obviously you do that and that's a good call because you want the pay-per-view numbers to be higher and the tickets sales to be higher. Okay, so wouldn't the ticket sales and the pay-per-view numbers be higher if more people watched your fucking show?
Most important thing is the pay-per-view number for Sunday and of course ticket sales as well. Actually, like on a show like this.
So Paramount's going to own a chunk of AEW and they don't do fucking pay-per-view? And they paid the UFC $7 billion to not do pay-per-view anymore? And Tone's more worried about selling traditional old school pay-per-views.
Learn, baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
Oh my God, dude. You can't make that. I'm just.
Tell us what you
Whoa.
know, you goddamn liar.
I'm just saying this shit out loud, and it's like they're fucked. They're fucked, dude. I don't take great pleasure in it, but I do now. Okay, I'm fully on the side of just let this shit burn, dude. Let it become TNA for a little bit, TNA on the Pop Network or whatever for a little bit, because there's no way to adjust. There's no way to fix these people. They're fucking mental, and I mean Dave and the Albas and these fucking there's no fixing them until that happens. You just got to let it burn at this point. It's crazy. Dave's trying to defend Tone by explaining why he's a fucking idiot. Oh my God.
Sunday and of course ticket sales as well. Actually, like on a show like this.
But wouldn't you want to not sacrifice viewers for a hype show? Isn't that the idea?
What? Oh, no way. Oh my God, I can't even get through this. So Bri goes, don't you want to not sacrifice numbers for a hype show? Wouldn't a hype show not have more viewers? Dave goes, what? He doesn't understand.
For Sunday and of course ticket sales as well. Actually, like on a show like this.
But wouldn't you want to not sacrifice viewers for a hype show? Isn't that the idea?
What?
Wouldn't you want to not sacrifice viewers for a hype show?
Actually, you have to make that choice.
Oh my God. Actually, you have to make that choice. No, there's only one choice. There's only one choice. To convert the most pay-per-view buys and ticket sales, you need to try and convert the audience watching at home. You need to try and convert people in cities that are going to come live. But that's where it becomes this city. How do we market? How do we make sure, take out spots on the radio, whatever, internet ads, banners, the local hometown wrestler will be there. That's how you fucking get people hyped for whatever city you're going to. And then to sell pay-per-views, right? You're trying to convert the people that are viewing you on television, because pay-per-view is an extension of television. You dumb bastard. He is insane, and he has the audacity to tell Jimmy Corderas, you don't study and learn the television industry.
Baby, learn. Meltzer Inferno.
It's just insane.
Yeah, and my choice would be don't sacrifice viewers for the hype
Okay,
show.
so that means that means no segments outside the ring.
What does that mean, Dave? So that means no segments outside the ring. So they can't do any talking segments because the sickos are not going to tune in and the talking's not. So then why aren't all the fans who like talking, Why aren't they tuning in then? Why is it sacrificing viewers? And how come WWE does a bunch of talking and they're destroying in the fucking viewership, and all anyone complains about is, oh, it's just talking? Why would it kill the viewership for an AEW show? Because those fans just want matchy-matchy? So you're appealing to the wrong fucking audience if they'll just abandon you if it's not matchy-matchy. And you do some talking to sell an event. To who? It's just the same people are going to buy the pay-per-view. You're not selling anybody else. Moxley's promo isn't going to sell a fucking WWE fan on, I'm going to buy All In or whatever. That's not going to happen. That doesn't even make sense. What's going to sell people on the pay-per-view is get more eyeballs on it. So Dave is saying you have to so you're going to get lower viewership on this show so that you can sell people the less amount of people. So now there's less people watching the show. So now it's more boiled down to your actual core audience because it's less people. And it's boiled down to the less people that you will convert to fucking buy the pay-per-view. Anybody who's going to buy an AEW pay-per-view is going to do it anyways. And they likely also are part of that 200,000 to 400,000 that'll watch Collision no matter what time it's on, no matter what day it's on. AEW has anywhere from just under 200,000 to just over 400,000 people in that range, which is a large range of fucking people. But you could put that show on any time and there's about 200,000, let's say, that'll watch it no matter what. A little under that if it's like the worst viewership they've ever had. So AEW pay-per-views do less than 100,000 buys, regardless of what Dave says. He adds an automatic 30% that nobody can verify and isn't true. So you have to automatically subtract 30% from whatever he says. And then you have to assume he has zero credibility and is lying, just like BJ Bethel. He cites BJ Bethel's numbers, but you have to believe somehow Dave has a source at Amazon, a source at WBD, a source with AEW's traditional pay-per-view sales, a source at Amazon. I might have said that twice. A source with Triller or whatever the fuck they sell pay-per-views on, Fight TV. He does not have sources at all these places. So he just makes an estimate and then admitted to adding 30% on, which just doesn't make fucking sense at all. Does not make sense at all whatsoever. Okay? And he just admitted, yeah, we're just adding 30% on. We covered that like fucking 2 years ago on the show. So Dave thinks that if the viewership is the lowest, it's going to convert more people to watch the pay-per-view. It just doesn't even make sense fundamentally. What he's saying is so retarded that I don't know how anybody gives this man money. This is grifting. People go, oh, he's senile now. He's deluded. No, bro, it's always been this way for 50 years. And I just don't think people picked up on it because it was in print. It was in print back then. It wasn't on the internet where audibly we can hear the guy behind what he's writing, how his brain works. We get to look at it in real time. Fuck, man. Fuck. It's insane.
No, I'm sure there was a match you could have taken off that show.
Well, perhaps there was.
Yes.
Yes. But no, if you want to don't sacrifice viewers, you got to take away everything everything that happens outside the ring is what hurts the ratings on AEW. So
then why would you sacrifice? First off, Dave, shut up. So why? Oh my God. So, okay. The people who are going to buy the pay-per-view then is already watching the fucking show, regardless if they talk or if they do matches or whatever. So let's just take Dave's theory where more matches means higher ratings for AEW, which isn't the fucking case. When Tone doesn't overrun, the ratings fucking tank. We already know this. It doesn't matter if there's a match, a talkity-talk, a vignette. The overrun equals ratings. A bunch of people fall off. But you still have that core, like couple 100,000 or more people there. 300,000, whatever. We've seen Collisions do so bad. Like low 300,000s when it goes after a Dynamite. Back when we'd get the quarter hours, we don't get them anymore. Tone hides them, but we know, right? And he's put up some of the worst ratings. Like one of these Dynamites recently did under 600,000 fucking viewers. Crazy. So Dave thinks that the core people that are always going to watch, and those are always going to be the people who buy the pay-per-view. The idea is, tank the ratings and cater to them instead of do something to increase the ratings and have potentially some of those people who don't buy the pay-per-view because more people are watching. That doesn't make sense. And we already destroyed Dave once. If you guys remember on this show, we pulled up. So somebody made a chart and they researched this and they showed the conversion rate percentiles of WWE in the Attitude Era, WCW during its peak, and then AEW historically, right? And you could see, and then Dave just automatically blocked the guy. He just blocked the guy because this guy just disproved Dave Meltzer and his fucking phony, the way he calculates pay-per-views, right? And we've also covered his pay-per-view predictions. And once the internet became a thing, Dave's predictions were way off. So back when pay-per-view was really pay-per-view, his predictions were more spot on. He was usually over or under by a bit, but it was way closer to par. We've tracked his UFC pay-per-view numbers since the internet and since streaming and shit. He's way fucking off. He's just given up. He doesn't even predict UFC pay-per-view buys anymore and shit. Not that that's a thing, but anymore, because like I said, Paramount paid UFC billions to not do pay-per-view because it's an antiquated, dumb fucking thing that Tony Khan's dead set on doing, and Dave is dead set. He's trying to sell pay-per-view, so get less people watching shit. But when that guy posted that chart and Dave just blocked him, it automatically, like the guy didn't insult him or anything. It just automatically proves that Dave doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about with this stuff at all whatsoever. And AEW's pay-per-view numbers were all an anomaly when you compare it to WWE nowadays during their fucking peak, which they're peaking again right now, but their peak, as he put it, the conversions don't make sense. In the Attitude Era, the pay-per-view conversions, you track them with WCW and WWF. It all made sense. The mathed up. The more viewership equaled more converting on the fucking pay-per-views for the most part. There may be one exception in there, but not that I recall at all. And then AEW's pay-per-view numbers were all over the place. So like years where they had more viewership, they were lower than years where they had lower viewership and Dave was shilling harder. And then the max thing comes in, and then the numbers are all just out of whack. They're inconsistent year by year. It's fucking crazy, man. And when he blocked that guy, that's when I knew. I was like, he really just is actually making shit up. Then you had Niccolo Piccolo, who did his assessment. He tried to put together his math or whatever the fuck. And he said, I believe he got it down to a fucking number after studying. I guess he took time. He asked AI. I don't know what Niccolo Piccolo did. We went over the thread though. Again, this is years now of felting Dave here at DMDMW. And we went through his numbers and Niccolo Piccolo came to the conclusion Dave overestimates his pay-per-view buys by, what did he say? 31.5% or some shit like that. And I went, yeah, that's the 30% he lies and says that he just added all of a sudden because of Amazon. And even Bryan went, I don't think boxing does 30% conversion. I don't even think boxing does that. And Dave's, oh, well, AEW does. So once Amazon came into the picture, he just adds an invisible 30%. Meanwhile, there was a whole pay-per-view where Amazon had to refund everybody for AEW. He didn't even talk about it. He just went, they did this many buys. He didn't even try to subtract that or anything. So the rule of thumb is whenever Dave gives a number on pay-per-views, you automatically take 30% away just to be safe. And then I'm sure he's inflating shit in other places. But when he says things like this, it just further the more viewership means you're going to convert more people, more than likely, if you're doing an entertaining job. More people were buying pay-per-views when WWE had the most viewers. You can look at, same with WCW. NWO's ruling, brah. NWO's on top. They're selling more pay-per-views than they were when nobody gave a fuck about WCW and Hogan and them showed up. That's why the business was a success. So Dave thinks that having lower viewership is how you're going to sell more pay-per-views. He's fucking cooked in the brain, man.
You know, the Omega segment with Will Ospreay, which is probably the most important.
It was too long.
Okay, but that
could have been
was
shortened.
Either way, it was going to cost viewers doing it. So those are the decisions you have to make. This week, the goal is hype the show, not draw the biggest rating possible.
So hyping the show is you do that by not drawing a rating. You hype the show by purposefully trying to get lower viewership is what Dave's cope is right now. He's
You
coping.
are coping and seething. You just can't accept what you're seeing. Yes, you're coping and seething. The truth it is scalding, and now you are molding and coping so hard. Coping and seething.
And this is what I told you guys. Dave is becoming unhinged.
Well, it is.
Brian can't believe it, and Dave goes, well, it is.
Well, it is.
You would want the biggest rating
course
possible
you-
when
of course.
hyping the show.
Of course you would, but you have to make a choice sometimes. And this week, especially, the choice goes to hyping the show, not
Makes no
let's
sense.
hot shot
Dave.
and do
Oh my
some great
God.
matches and do their biggest ratings possible and not hype the pay-per-view. This week is
So okay, let's say they do the biggest matches and then they don't put 75 matches on the pay-per-view, a casino battle royal, a trios battle royal. Also, we're gonna have a fucking what's next? A 30-man. Like the fucking matches you already have multiple matches with like 20 people that are going to be in both of them. So how about you cut some of those out? You got the New Day debuting on the fucking pre-show. How about you just don't do some of this shit? Put some of these matches, sprinkle in stories and these big matches. Okay, let's just give Dave the benefit of the doubt and say the big matches are going to blow up the rating. Then do these big ass matches and the whole time promote all in, all in, all in, all in. You want to see more of this? Buy all in, all in, all in, all in. To more people watching the show. He just doesn't get it. He doesn't even understand anything. He doesn't understand a goddamn thing. This is actually unhinged. Dave is becoming unhinged.
Of course you want the numbers. You want the most number of viewers, but you have to make choices.
Why do you want the most number of viewers? So that you can market the pay-per-view to the most people.
And this Wednesday show is, more than last Wednesday. This Wednesday show is the one where you've got to go with your priority being.
Yes, Bud Dave.
And this is Dave's cope over them doing like an under 600K rating. And look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches. Then the backstage thing with both of these Omega and Ospreay and Willow and Monet. So it's already a packed fucking show. And Dave's sitting here talking about acting like they're doing anything different than they ever do in the first place. Coping over why they got a lower rating. Well, I mean, they purposefully got the lower rating so they could sell more pay-per-views. It's the antithesis. It's the dumbest fucking thing ever. Hey, why didn't anybody see that movie? We took no commercials out for this movie we made because that means more people will pay to see the movie. Don't you get it? It's an actual grifter right here, guys, and in the flesh.
You have said yourself that we know, and we do know this, that when they go 35 minutes long,
Oh yeah, no, of course
they're going to hemorrhage viewers.
Absolutely.
So that is a poor time to hype your biggest stuff.
Well, the biggest thing was hyped in was in the first hour, which was the sit down.
The first hour where they have an overrun, where they hope to see. This is what Tone thinks, because he's so bad at this and he's so dumb, and he listens to Dave and Dave gaslights him. Yeah, do it. And he listens to fucking all these creeps that we've been ghouls that we've chronicled here on this show already tonight. Tone legitimately thinks this, and I've said this, and Dave thinks this as well. If Monday Night Raw, like everybody tuned in on Netflix to watch Monday Night Raw one night, and then just Dynamite came on, that everyone would go, man, this is way better, AEW, and then they just have 2 million fans that used to watch WWE. That's what they believe. Tone thinks that an overrun, if people see what happened in an overrun at the start of the show, then that's going to make people who are like fans of the Big Bang Theory go, man, this AEW stuff is sure sweet. And then if he does the overrun after the show, that even though the ratings tank, whoever's flipping the channel, like, oh, usually Impractical Jokers is on, they're going to go, man, this AEW stuff sure is awesome. He doesn't fucking get it. They don't understand how the television business works. They don't understand how the pay-per-view business works. Tone is the worst marketer of all time. And Dave is sitting there clapping him on. You have fucking sickos clapping this shit along, being like, yes, do it, Tone. Do it. Put the New Day on the pre-show, because that'll make people watching the free YouTube buy the pay-per-view instead of just illegally stream it like most AEW fans do in the first place. Most wrestling fans who also watch AEW are not buying the fucking pay-per-views. Most of their audience is it. Even if we give Dave the benefit of the doubt on the high end of their pay-per-view buys, 145,000. Collision does 300,000 viewers. You want us to believe you're converting 50% of the people that watch even Collision? Nobody buys that because it's the day and age of the internet. Even all these fucking dirt sheet guys and shit, do you think they're buying every fucking AEW pay-per-view? They all sell VPNs. NordVPN.com/ProWrestleTimes. Link down below. They're all selling fucking VPNs, dude. You don't think they use them? Like, come on, man. It's bullshit. It's complete and utter fucking bullshit. Be honest about this stuff. Dave doesn't know what he's unhinged at this point in time. Right now, what Dave does here is he admits a little bit that the go home for All In, which was just so terribly boring, and then the vignette at the end, they placed it so it went like a couple minutes past like the top of the hour again, so some people might tune in from Practical Jokers and go, oh, I'm gonna buy this pay-per-view looking at these highlights of fucking two guys wrestling in Japan. The entire fucking vignette package, promo package, whatever you want to call it, was 2/3 of it, at least 3/4 of it, was shit that happened in New Japan Pro Wrestling 10 years ago when that shit was actually hot and cool. It's mind-boggling, man. It's crazy to me. And then MJF and Andrade's blow-off is, hey, you're two of the guys in a fucking 15-man gauntlet match. It's just garbage, okay? Fundamentally. The Casino Gauntlet doesn't even make sense either. Because in kayfabe and in real life, it doesn't make sense, and I've explained this. The two first guys aren't going to just pin each other in 3 minutes before the next guy comes out. And if they did, the fans would go, fuck this. They'd be like, what the fuck? You promised us a gauntlet match. So we know that there's 15 guys out there, so why would you fight to be the first guy in the match? Doesn't even make fucking sense. It's just insulting to everybody's intelligence. It's insane. And so, again, people don't realize that the New Day, they're going to debut on the fucking YouTube show. People want to see, people who are tuning in to see the New Day. They're not tuning in to see the New Day who got over by throwing pancakes and dancing and doing their hair in wacky fucking ways and playing a trumpet. New Day rocks. They get over with their big entrance, their aura. People aren't going to tune in to see the New Day have bangers, man. That's what the sickos are already tuning in to see. It doesn't matter. You could put Garcia in there against a blow-up doll, and they're going to go, banger. Oh, banger. Wow. It's Garcia versus Moxley. It's just bangers, bruv. Real pro wrestling. They're going to tune in anyways. So you're just going to give away the New Day debut for free on the fucking YouTube and hope it converts people? No, bitch. That's why X amount of million people watch WWE, and then tens of X amount of million people watch the entrances and watch the moments and the big spots on social media after. It's about converting the most people. You're not going to do that if you just give away the fucking juice right there on the fucking free YouTube pre-show. It's the most cookie monstered shit of all time. But the go home, it's the same thing with the overruns. Like, they really think that it's going to convert just like a random stranger is going to see it instead of Impractical Jokers and go, yeah, let me watch this shit. No, No, dude. So this is a rather bizarre go home for Dynamite for All In. And even Dave is forced to admit. Now, people are going to turn on Dave for this.
The guy that has papers everywhere in his room.
And, you know, typically
The
we
only
make fun of
reason
Dave.
I know about this is because of I know about it.
Right. And so he's even going to be like, yeah, I don't understand. This is strange the way they book this shit. It's kind of stupid.
There were good wrestling matches on the show. And
There's
I
always
thought-
good wrestling matches on every show. You can turn on MLP, Maple Leaf Pro, there's good matches. You can turn on MLW, there's good matches. TNA, there's good matches. WWE, there's good matches. HOG, there's good matches. You got to have more than good matches. You can't be flip-flopping who your baby faces and heels are the coming weeks right before the pay-per-view, just flip-flopping around because you don't have time management, and fucking Moxley again is involved in your angle with Ospreay, and it's tanking your fucking show because people don't watch Moxley. The sickos don't even like Moxley.
That the build for Sunday was, other than the video package and the Ospreay promo, it wasn't really particularly great.
The, I guess, third most
Whoa, based Dave. Do we got to play a fucking based flute for Dave?
baffling thing on the show, behind Ospreay not selling the one winged angel through the table and Kenny Omega not being there at all.
Ospreay doesn't sell shit. He's one of the worst sellers in the game. That's part of the grind, bruv. You have to know how to sell. That's one thing that it takes patience, it takes poise, it takes restraint. Again, I've been going off about this for weeks.
The main event is Swerve and Jack Perry, which was a very good match.
They had a hell of a match.
They had a very good match, but at the end of the day, I'm watching and I'm thinking, what does this have to do with Wembley?
Yeah, nothing. Nothing at all.
I don't have an answer.
Well, Swerve was originally talking about being in the trios, and they never brought that up once.
And he's still in the trios, which is what they brought up today. Tone did in an interview or something. Don't you get it? They're bad. They're bad. Tone's bad at this, and you are bad at this, Dave, and you encourage him.
I mean, that's the idea. It's him in the New Day. I mean,
they sure did nothing to make you think that.
They sure didn't.
Even Dave's like, why didn't they? Oh my God, based Dave Meltzer.
I mean, he did tease that he was going to be in the match on television. He said,
But yeah, Swerve and Jack Perry was good shit. I mean, I've always said, look, you don't have to like Jack Perry, but he's a solid wrestler. He is like solid at fucking like having a match with people. And he's just not, he's a little fucking dude. So you just don't really buy him. And when he like does this fake tough guy, I'm driving the short bus and I'm the scapegoat. It's like, shut up, be a little jungle guy who flips around, you're little Tarzan. That's what makes you cool. And then Swerve, I mean, he has pretty decent matches. But you got to like on the pay-per-views, he just goes out there and does what Ospreay does. Like Swerve and Ospreay both have the same problem where they just go and do fucking everything and let everyone kick out of everything. And then they kick out of everything. And then they power up out of everything. And then it's 14 false finishes, finisher, reversal, finisher, kick out. I hit my finisher, kick out, finisher again, reverse into your finisher, kick out. I don't know, man. He could do better. But yeah, he had a good TV match, I guess. Even Mox Claudio. I mean, they had a pretty good match with each other, I guess, if you just want to go matches. But overall, Dynamite was pretty fucking boring. Even Dave is admitting it.
Not tonight.
It was a couple of weeks ago, but
yeah, no, he did. Yeah, he did before, but tonight it wasn't even brought up. I guess Jack is in the gauntlet, right?
I guess.
I mean, he said he is.
And Dave, and this is the problem with Dave too. He always slips because he texts Tone and they call each other on the phone. And so he's like, "Oh, is he in it? Oh, he is. And it's like, I don't remember particularly him saying that either, Dave. I'm with Brian here. I don't particularly remember him saying that, but I'll take your word for it, Dave, because you're just probably stooging some shit that Tone told you.
Okay.
But they didn't push that either.
What did this have to do with anything?
Oh, no. Well, they did a whole thing on Collision to build.
I know, but this is the go-home show for Wembley, and the main event is two guys that have nothing to do with anything on Wembley.
Yeah, just have a match. I agree.
That's bizarre.
Dude, even Dave is like, I fucking agree. Why didn't they bring up anything? It's because Tone is the worst go-home show booker and the worst post-show booker. He is just the worst booker in general. And there's zero hype going into this All In. All anybody's talking about is Ospreay brought up The Rock, MJF brought up WWE Radio, is Ilja showing up, is New Day showing up, is Kairi Sane showing up. Ricochet's coping about Heyman, Big Show's getting called out by NXT UK talent. That's all the headlines are. Edge is talking about his John Cena retirement. Tone's getting asked about, would you have let Edge do the John Cena retirement? That's all anyone cares about is WWE, 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 WWE. And there's no hype on anything. And they have hype on Andrade and MJF. MJF loses the title. He loses it clean. He just gets pinned 1, 2, 3. But motherfucker's walking around with a fake belt. But he's going to fight Andrade. My prediction is MJF wins that gauntlet and then he cashes in at All In and then fucking pins whoever. Like if Bruv wins, MJF's going to spoil the night, pin Ospreay, and then fucking Ospreay gets his moment. MJF leaves with the title though. And then you get the rematch between Ospreay and MJF down the line. And I think that's Tone's big plan here. Unless they announce like the winner of the gauntlet gets a shot and it has to be at All Out or something like that, then okay, they don't necessarily do that, but they might have MJF come out at the end of the night or something because they always overbook everything. But all anybody's really hyped on is WWE stuff. That's all anyone's really talking about. Nobody's sitting there going, man, I can't wait for this gauntlet. I'd be sitting there personally going, I actually can't wait for Andrade MJF. I actually can't wait for that match. That one will steal the show. But no, because they're wrestling in a 20-man gauntlet. Hey, dude, I can't wait for the New Day to make their entrance. We know it's coming. It's going to be awesome. No, they can't just do Edge and Christian. The story was right there. Edge and Christian are fighting champions. They win the belts, and that's what they're establishing. So instead of having them fucking beat a bunch of guys in the tag division and then showing up at All In and going, we're doing an open challenge, and then everybody kind of knows, but then the New Day show up, and then you just that's a fucking money match right there. You can have Edge and Christian even beat the New Day, but instead it's just Swerve and New Day are going to become trios champions because Hangman is a glorified trio guy now, and you don't have anything of substance for him. You don't have anything of substance for Swerve, who's a former world champion. There's no sight of Samoa Joe. MJF's getting the shit end of the stick. There's zero hype on any of the women's matches going in. Nobody's talking about any fucking women's match going into this shit. What else is even on the pay-per-view? That's the problem. We know FTR is going to do something because they're going to be in the UK, so they're going to come out and get involved in something. Tone goes, yeah, there's a 40-team trios match. Like, there's zero hype on anything, on the Casino Gauntlet, on Nigel versus Mox. Come on, guys. What do you think is going to happen in that match? Nigel and Mox. Holy fuck, man. The commentary guy who's injured right now versus your Billy Badass who ran Rough Shop over the whole company for a year straight and goes undefeated and fucking wins all these continental tournaments. And yeah, it's going to be him versus the commentary guy who's got a hurt foot in the UK, who's from the UK. What do you think's going to happen?
It's actually bizarre.
Yeah, no, I think that they should have done, the main event should have been Will Ospreay and a bunch of guys against Kenny Omega and a bunch of guys. Or, something involved.
Listen to Dave's great idea. Oh, it should have been Kenny and a bunch of guys versus Will and a bunch of guys. What?
Being, Mercedes and Willow.
How about you get heat on that shit and there's a big pull apart at the fucking end of the show, or somebody leaves someone laying, or you give us some drama, something to sink our goddamn teeth into.
On opposite sides of a tag team match.
And then Willow breaks her hand. So Willow can't stay healthy. Kingston can't stay healthy because of this dumbass way people are fucking booked. Anna Jay re-signs, is finally healthy, re-signs, gets hurt again. How about we stop having women do the shit they're doing, these hardcore matches, and we think of stories for them instead of just fucking, hey, this team, Brawling Birds, you guys cut a promo in front of the stairwell, and then I know the Tekla, you and your fucking team cut a promo in front of a stairwell. Tekla carries the belt, is healing on everyone. They just take the belt, and she's nowhere to be found. She's not even on the pay-per-view. It's the worst booked shit of all time. Nobody can tell anyone otherwise. That's why this is the lowest attended Wembley of all time. Point blank. This is why they're doing terrible ratings. This is why they're going to Vegas and they can't even draw 2,000 fucking people. This is why Moxley was their champ for a year. They pull up to Cincinnati. They sell 1,500 tickets.
Or what else is on that show? Or maybe a tag team match of people that are in the gauntlet, that you tell the people they're in the gauntlet that are against each other and do a hot match to make you want to see
a hot match. No, Dave, you need to garner heat to get a hot match. There's no heat on anything in AEW.
Gauntlet.
There's only one way to end this. You fucking have a pull apart or something super dramatic happen between Ospreay and Kenny, and then you run that vignette about they're fighting this fucking whatever. That's how you do it. It's your main event.
But yes,
Andrade and MJF got more heat on each other, and they are the two first entrants in in the shitty version of the Royal Rumble.
You had guys that are not in the same match, doing a match with no real talk about what Jack Perry is doing at Wembley. No talk whatsoever about what Swerve was doing at Wembley.
And to Dave, this is the best shit of all time, right?
There were good wrestling
and it's
matches.
so nuanced and it's so deep, and it penetrates him so deep compared to what WWE's doing. Okay? So here's Dave Meltzer talking about, well, first let's get to Bry here because it's more on the overrun and what we're talking about and how they should be ending the show. And then we're going to get to Dave breaking down how this story's so much deeper than anything WWE's doing. Meanwhile, he can't name one instance or one way that's actually reality. He offers no fucking, this is what makes it more nuanced and deep than any other story that's being told anywhere else in the world of pro wrestling. He can't fucking name away. He can't explain away at all. He just explains away his fucking cope and any bad and wrongdoing that Tone's doing. And that's why I kicked your leg from your leg, Brett. And we'll get to that in a moment, but Bry here talks about why are they shooting their biggest angles deep into the overrun when also people who were there, again, a bunch of people hit me up in the comments, in my replies, everything saying, Phil, you couldn't see anything in the building for all this anyways because the smoke that blew up Darby Allin. You couldn't even see what was going on, and people started leaving. For their biggest angle, it's just everything's ass backwards. Meanwhile, Bry and Dave are going to sit there and go, the way WWE books young talent is ass backwards. When this is the most ass backwards shit, and at least Bry's calling it out and staying consistent.
Now Tony is doing these
but fuck Bry at the same time.
Super long overruns. 21 minutes, 34
36.
minutes, 36 minutes. And now the demo is going down. The viewers are
CWJ for 2 sweet says, what would all in attendance be if held in the U.S.? The last one was 18,000 paid per Brandon Thurston, who sued the fucking building to get the numbers. So, just over 18,000. So it would be like double or nothing again. It would be like, oh, they do 15,000, maybe more than that, maybe a little more, but it would do less than all in Texas because everything's just kind of trending backwards, and they have the least amount of heat in America than they've ever had for sure.
going down. You're shooting your biggest angle before the lowest. And it's like, now what's the reason? Anybody? What's the reason?
Lack of discipline.
No, I know that, but like, if
and Dave's gonna give Tone best booker and shit like this year again. You're gonna see, even though SmackDown in Ontario just did 17,000 people. Oh, but WWE's done. They're not peaking. They're not peaking, Brian. It's not the top. Dynamite beats Raw in the ratings. It's like, Dave, you know Nielsen ratings and Netflix streaming views aren't the same thing, right? You stupid idiot. these sickos don't know that. These motherfuckers don't understand these things, but then they just talk about them like they understand. It's fucking crazy, man.
Trying to defend it. What is the defense of this?
Nothing. There is no
the
defense
best anyone could come up with is, he's helping the rating of the show that comes after. He's helping the rating of the show that goes after?
No, because people turn Impractical Joker reruns probably get more views than AEW. So he's helping the show that comes after. No, they're helping it, if anything. The Big Bang Theory reruns help Dynamite's overall viewership. This has been proven countless times. Bry is beside himself, and I'm next to that version of Bry going, yeah, told you, tell your boss. He tries to tell his boss, and his boss goes, well, you're going to sacrifice viewership to get the most hype on your show, Brian. Of course, everyone knows this.
But, like, he's losing viewers for his show. Less people are watching his show. The smallest number of viewers are watching his main event angle with his biggest stars. What are we doing here? Anybody? Can anybody help me?
No.
So anyway, the show would have done significantly better if it had gone 2 hours, but it didn't.
I'd have seen the main event angle.
I'm talking about last week. This week is going to be...
Lance Storm is like, dude, I'd have seen the end of it, but who's going to stay up for that shit? It shows you how much, like, that's how bad this is. Lance Storm's like, I just got to go to bed. This is fucking stupid. And the building was filled with smoke, and the people there couldn't see what was going on.
Worse. Because, even the old thing was, you got to set it to record the show afterwards. Well, if you did that, you still didn't get the end. Because it went 6 minutes after the show that went after.
Exactly. So now Brian felting Dave over the past arguments. Well, you got to know to set the DVR, Brian. It's like, set your DVR. And Brian's like, okay, let's say if you did that, you still missed the end with the fucking guys. Dave thinks that he just defends it because it's tone. But he thinks that this is purposeful to put more hype on the show. It's cooked.
I don't know what this guy's doing. And it's frustrating because, like, I know the sickos are mad at me right now, and they're yelling at me, and people in the chat are defending it. Guys, you realize I talk to people in AEW. Nobody likes this overrun. Like, the people there are like, why is this show going so long?
Bro, yes. And Phil S. Marks, have been thanked for doing this show and saying this shit. By people in the biz, we'll leave it at that. Bry's not lying about that. Okay? There are people who work there who are like, what the fuck are we doing? And nobody speaks up because Tone pays them so goddamn good. And if you do, you get exiled, you get Britt Bakered, or you just get ghosted. And Tone just doesn't deal with it.
I left and got home and the show was still going. This is not something where, everybody there is all excited about it and we're the bad guys. Like, nobody is in favor of this. Except the real hardcores.
And they've already bought the pay-per-view or are going to illegally stream it. You already have them. You're trying to get casual folks. You're trying to get wrestling fans in general who are like, do I want to buy All In this year? That's who you're trying to get. Not the same 100,000. Let's say Dave's accurate. 140,000 buys. Okay, then you got that locked in. Then why don't we try and make more than that? They don't care about that. That's the problem. They don't understand how to do that. Tone's not willing to listen to people who will tell them how to do that. And WBD don't care about anything right now. They can't even get Barbie 2 done because of this whole Paramount thing, and they don't give a fuck about AEW anything. They don't. Just run longer. Okay, 300,000 people are watching WB Live longer. TNT Sports or fucking... TBS actually is where they do the overruns. Collision doesn't really overrun. So they don't care, man. And that shit's all going away. When Paramount merges with WBD inevitably, like TNT Sports, gone. Bye-bye. That's gone. I don't know about TBS, but TNT Sports is gone. You already got them locked in. You got the sickos will watch Collision wherever the fuck it is. Right? Anywhere from a third to half of the viewership of Collision allegedly is being converted into pay-per-view buys. Why don't you want more people to buy? It's just crazy.
Set my DVR for a
unhinged.
30-minute overrun, and I missed the main event angle.
And like for the boomers like Lance Storm who have money and he sets the DVR and watches it traditionally, that's who you're trying to sell a pay-per-view to. He didn't even see the main event angle. Why would he buy a fucking pay-per-view? And this is weeks now they've been doing this. Why would he spend his money on the shit, let's say, if he wasn't invested in pro wrestling? And let's face it, he ain't gonna. Somebody he knows is gonna fucking buy it, and he's gonna, you know, for his job, he gets to write that one off. Let alone, you have to think about it. The young people and a lot of people, even celebrities, people see LeBron James and Justin Bieber using links to watch fights and shit. Paramount just paid UFC $7.7 billion to get rid of pay-per-views altogether. AEW sickos are mostly internet wrestling fans. We've done this here at PWT. We've gone to illegal sites, allegedly, the pirate ship sites, and AEW pay-per-views get more views in shorter amounts of time on these sites, the ones that show the fucking view counts and the likes, than SummerSlams and shit like that. So where do you think these people are going? How many people do you really think you're converting? And why wouldn't you try and convert more in the 2-hour block instead of doing this? It's because nobody gives a fuck. There's no checks and balances. And it's a bunch of people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. And the wrestlers who do think they know better don't want to say shit. Because as I said earlier, Tone can brag about All-In's approaching a $6 million gate. Okay, so that's the Young Bucks, both of their salaries this year. Congrats, you paid for the Young Bucks this year. Barely. Congrats.
This guy says TK and AEW must get something out of these long overruns or he wouldn't do them unless he just wants more wrestling.
That's all it is, dude. That's what it is. So I've broken this down. The way Tone and Dave and these people see it is just Tone needs to do a bunch of matches, right? And he's got all these people he's got to book and he's paying all these people all this fucking money. But he also has been adding more talking segments lately. So to not get smoke from the stopwatch sickos, this is all it is, guys. I'm going to explain it right now. To not get smoke from the stopwatch sickos who go, the first 30 minutes of Raw was all talking. So AEW will do the first 30 minutes of their shows talking, but then they'll still give you the same amount of the wrestling there was. And then to Tone, he justifies, well, we did this much talking, but there was also this much wrestling. That's all it is. It's just trying to appeal and appease the wrong people. The Observer message board, cage match rating, stopwatch sicko smarks. That's the only reason he's doing it.
Yes, he just wants more. He's not getting anything out of this. He's not getting paid for the overruns. I could tell you that for a fact. He's losing viewers. He's shooting his big angles in front of the smallest audience. Like, what are we doing?
What are we doing,
Can
B?
anyone, and I ask people that I'm like, can anyone explain to me? Like, no, no one knows. He just keeps going. Golly. So anyway, it's hurting their business, but he keeps doing it. I'm just trying to help. And I'm the bad guy. I'll take it.
Yeah, Brian, welcome. Welcome to what has been going on with myself and many other for years. Your boss, your daddy Dave, calls people who call this shit out fraudcasting grifter, old man podcast fraudcasting grifters. Meanwhile, Dave will sit there, take $14.99 from people, get on the air, have fucking 80 sentences in one paragraph with no period, not understand how to format, not edit, omit shit, lie by omission, exaggerate the truth, and sit there and fucking tell you that less viewers means more people are going to buy your pay-per-view. That's your boss, Bri. Bri's just regretting. Bri is just regretting attaching Figure 4 Online to
now
the
Tony
Observer.
is doing...
That's all it is. So now, again, the sickos, we have sickos in chat here going, yes, AEW fans only care about the matches and shit. Okay, so here's this tard, dumb Dave, talking about how the storyline is so nuanced between Ospreay and Omega. Well, what's the point, Dave? So is Tone a bad booker because he sacrifices ratings to sell more pay-per-views, which doesn't make sense? Or is he a bad booker then because just crazy matches would do more viewership, but he's spending more time doing talking segments and trying to give you drama and storylines? Which is it? You can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, he's got to be a bad booker for doing one of these things then. Right? And Dave wants to talk about the storytelling is so complicated. Okay, but the sickos admit they don't want that. They just want to see people land on their heads until they need neck fusion surgeries and then come back and do it more till they end up like Bryan Danielson. He can't even sit there with a fucking headset on without getting vertigo and shit, because that's all these motherfuckers want to see, right? So what's the point then of doing any of this? If doing matches get more eyeballs, wouldn't that sell more pay-per-views? And Dave's talking about you need to sell more pay-per-views, and talking segments don't sell more pay-per-views. And what the fuck are you talking about, dude? And none of it makes sense. And he can't give one example of how what Omega and Ospreay's doing is so nuanced, and it's not. It's elementary level. So, okay, stories have beats. Stories have inciting actions. Stories have, I say this all the time, vocation, revenge, vengeance, fucking all, heartbreak, all of these sorts of different things. Some stories can be comedically based, stories, whatever. Omega goes from, so Ospreay's running around with bad guys who put plastic bags on people's heads and fucking tie them up and burn people's faces and slam them on beds and nails and shit. So Ospreay starts running around with these guys to be the most lethal weapon wrestler of all time. And then he's jumping the young bucks from behind and doing all this shit. He's like a bad guy. Then he comes out at Redemption, and just because he turns on Moxley, no, bruv. And nothing changed about Ospreay. He's just still the same wrestler. So then Kenny snaps and goes, ugh, and does his little wide-eyed video game face. I'm going to try and dump you on your head that you just had neck fusion surgery. So clearly he's trying to turn heel. But you'll have sickos go, Kenny's not a heel. Meanwhile, he's doing psychotic guy face after dropping a neck fusion surgery guy on his fucking head on a table on the outside of the ring with the one-winged angel. So that's what a fucking heel would do. And this shit makes no fucking sense, and everybody disagrees. Dave's the biggest fucking fan of AEW in the world. He disagrees with what some of these sickos who are like, no, it's actually this, and no, it's actually this. Nobody can fucking make sense of anything because it's stupid and none of it makes fucking sense. For the love of God. And then Dave and Bry have to sit there and pretend, golly gee, is Royce Keys and Out the Mud heels? They jumped baby faces and tweener bloodline. But I can't tell if they're heels or not. They have to make believe, pretend that they don't fucking understand what's going on when it's very straightforward. And you know what I mean?
He had Cuervo with him the whole time too.
But instead, Dave says shit like this. This is the most nuanced, complex story there is in a 1-minute clip.
It's a lot deeper than a WWE feud.
It's a lot deeper than a WWE feud. It's not. Ospreay won a tournament. So he gets a shot at the champion. That's the most surface level bullshit. It's not even as deep as, hey, Penta's got to beat up his brother, or Rey Fenix has to beat up his brother to get a shot at Roman. So literally, just fundamentally, the inciting action is Ospreay wins a tournament. He is taking on Omega. That's why the title match is happening. Okay? So what is Dave going to divulge here? Like why they both flip-flop between babyface and heel? Is he going to break down why the nuances there of why they're just flip-flopping 2 weeks out? Who's who and who's doing what?
WWE, you're used to very shallow. They try to go a little deeper with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins.
But it seems...
So the bloodline's shallow. CM Punk and Drew was so shallow. Punk and Roman. Punk and Seth. Rhodes and Randy, pretty shallow with what they could. Let's call it out here. Rhodes and Randy, they could have went way deeper in their bag instead of just parading McAfee and Jelly Roll out there. Okay, I'll give you that one. Take Punk and Drew, where everybody's popping for beads. They spill beads. That's how fucking deep that story went. People, the biggest pop of the match was, whoa, he dumped beads out. That's nuance, Dave. That's layers to a fucking story. Again, we don't have to break down step by step how they got there. Dave certainly won't for anything. He just says this stuff. And that's the problem with AEW. It's just people doing things. There's no real beats to the story. There's no vocation in anything that anybody's doing.
A little bit more simplistic.
Other than, we want to be the best, bruv. I want to be the champion, bruv. Okay, that goes without saying. That's what makes real sports boring. When a hockey player does an interview and, oh, yeah, you know, we're going to give 110%, bud, and we're going to fucking get pucks on the net and we want to win the cup. No shit. That's okay. And sports are entertaining as fuck because they're real, right? So wrestling is, you're not quite fully just entertainment because there's some physicality to it, but you're not actually real fighting either. So again, it goes without saying, the sport element in pro wrestling goes without saying. Everyone wants championships, buddy. We understand that part. You don't need to say that part. And that's all anybody has. I just want the championship, bruv.
For their, like,
he won a tournament to get a shot at a title, okay? So that's playoffs. So that's, everybody does that in every sport. We need a little more drama than that because it's not real. We need to be sports entertained now. If you just want that, go fight MMA. Go fight MMA. You want to get punched in the head for real and really win a championship, go fight MMA or shut the fuck up. Give me some drama.
Just want a more...
And then when the drama doesn't make sense, when Kenny's all of a sudden, I'm back to wearing suit jackets and I'm just very much a bad guy now and I'm going to finger bang you. Meanwhile, Ospreay was jumping Kenny's friends and shit. He was doing bad guy shit, but now Kenny's the bad guy who's going to dump a neck fusion surgery guy on his fucking head. It's the dumbest shit of all time. And then you can't get behind people cutting promos on each other. And also, WIll Ospreay just yells. All he does is just yell his promos. There's a lot of actors who do that too. There's a lot of people who think good acting is just when the actor's yelling. No, okay?
Easy to understand story so that their fan base can kind of just get into it,
right?
Whether they've been watching for 2 months or whether they just saw it on television, you know, the other day.
Yeah.
It's a different psychology. I mean, I like the fact that, you know, if you do pay attention to
you know, the thing is
rewarded.
Yeah.
If you do pay attention to AEW TV, you get rewarded. And you don't with WWE. You don't when you watch MLW. You don't when you watch fucking TNA. Anything on TV, if you're not being and you don't, when you're in AEW, you don't. Everything's so underwhelming. Imagine you pay attention to AEW and Moxley holding the title hostage for fucking a year straight and tanking the viewership while doing it, as we chronicled here at PWT and DMDMW. And then he loses the title to Hangman. And then fucking a month later, Joe wins the belt and they're just like, yeah, fuck all that. Now Hangman's a trios guy and they just move on to other shit. Is that rewarding? Or did more people talk about Goldberg's retirement speech getting cut off to this day? And then what did Moxley do after that? Was there any payoff to him putting plastic bags, and was he reprimanded? Did anything come of that? No, he just all of a sudden entered a tournament and went, I do this for wrestling. Then he's like kind of a good guy. And people are like, yeah, Moxley's like letting people beat him in this tournament that he ultimately wins because it's point-based. So, yeah, he puts a guy over, but then he ends up leaving the tournament with the belt, and he's like kind of a good guy now and shakes people's hands after kidnapping legends and stuff like this. There's no payoff to that. When the Bucks turned heel and invaded AEW, what was the payoff to them attacking Tone? Tone just gets on his Instagram lives and goes, oh, and Moxley's sure looking for a fight. Now the Bucks are just good guys and there's no repercussions to them fucking beating Tony down and shit. There's no payoff to anything. That's the biggest problem. That's the biggest problem. MJF dropping the title. What's the payoff? He's one of 20 guys in a battle royal or in a fucking gauntlet. There's no payoff to anything.
Is again, and I think some people miss this, is that the for better or for worse, and you can argue this, AEW gears itself for people who are really, really into it, with the idea that if you challenge them, They're gonna be more into it. And
if you challenge them. Oh my, this is just like this quote.
Poor people don't like AEW.
And then Dave tried to lie. I didn't say that. Meanwhile, they have the cheaper tickets. They flex the cheaper tickets. Way less people go to the shows. You would think they would have the most expensive tickets and less people go to the shows because it's just rich people. Poor people don't like it. It's not like there's more poor people or middle, lower class people in the fucking world, Dave. You dumb fuck. AEW fans more like to be challenged if you challenge them. What is challenging? You guys say they just like matches. And the matches are lazy as fuck. They're not lazy in the sense that it's move. But that's what everyone does. There's no selling. There's no nuance to the matches. There's no drama. There's no heat in anything they do. It's just move. So that's not challenging. That's TikTok brain. That's fucking scroll. Scroll, a Donald Trump meme. Scroll, a burrito wrap. Scroll, here's a girl twerking. Scroll, here's a fight at a Waffle House. Scroll, here's a fucking fact on how to fix your computer. Scroll, here's a fucking scene from a movie. Scroll, here's a fucking Jubilee debate clip. Scroll, here's a fucking girl twerking again. Like that's TikTok brain shit. Pile driver, move, kick out. Reverse finisher, Bushido power up, German suplex, land, kick out. There's no heat. There's no drama. There's rarely pacing. There's no selling. And everybody knows they have to wrestle that way because that's what Tone rewards. So again, I almost don't even blame the boys for that. I blame Dave and fucking Tone. But no, it is not what Dave's describing. It's in fact the opposite. It's just like, okay, I want to watch matches and just go, whoa, that's crazy. There's no build up to anything. It's just, I want to come and goosh. No foreplay. And it's just overloading people's brains with shit. So you forget. How many times do you see a recipe on fucking, you're scrolling like a YouTube short? And then you are like, damn, I'd like to make that. And then within 5 minutes, you fucking don't even remember what you saw 5 minutes ago. And you don't retain any of it. That's the problem with AEW. It's just here's stuff, match, zero heat, zero anticipation. But Dave is like, it's so layered and you need to challenge the viewer. Then why do the viewership go down when they do promos and shit? Why does according to Dave, the viewership goes down when they don't just do simple matches? Matches is the baseline. Of course, you're going to get matches in wrestling. The nuance comes from the heat, the selling, the fucking what happens before the match, after the match, what goes on backstage. How does that affect the rest of the show? The opening segment, oh, fuck, later tonight, you guys are having a tag match or whatever. So what is challenging about it's just crazy. It's fucking crazy. The physicality is more challenging than in WWE. Week to week on television, but not for PLEs. And I argue not even all the time. You see a physical match like Javon, Big Bill. You see a fucking the women. We point this out all the time. Raquel, Liv. These bitches go hard. Lyra goes hard in the paint.
Some people say
just calling them bitches.
It's not simple enough, or I don't want to think this much. And they're not wrong.
It's not simple enough. I don't want to think this much. Point out a way in which you have to think. The only way people have to think about AEW stories is like, this is fucking dumb. How does this make any fucking sense? That's all it is. Why is Ospreay flipping? Well, you just don't understand. No, explain it. And then I'll explain to you why that's retarded and doesn't make sense. And anybody who's written anything ever can explain to you why this shit doesn't make, it's just stuff happening. The same critique. Everybody, Jim Cornette, Bischoff, fucking name anybody. Myself, other podcasters, they'll tell you it's just shit happening. There's no real sense. And even Dave admitted it about this last Dynamite. Why are these people who aren't even facing each other at All In just having matches? It was a pretty good match, but like, why? Exactly. And that's what makes you think. It's head scratching. It's not, oh, I have to think about, holy shit, dude. Man. Royce Keys jumped fucking Solo in them too, but why? Well, he's saying fuck the whole family, dude. He's just coming. He's gunning for everybody. He's got his goons with him, and they're just gunning for everybody because they damn near almost ended his fucking career. Like the bloodline shit, Dave and Breyer, like, what are they? Yeah, you have to think about what they're doing. Roman is still jumping people into his crew, essentially, by being like, yo, we're going to beat you in a match, and then you're forced to fucking acknowledge me. We're putting the bloodline together. Everyone wants to cheer the bloodline. But at the same time, why wouldn't he want to put it all together? Now we're on opposite ends of things where Solo tried to usurp power for a long time. And then he started getting over with the fucking crowd. And so Roman's like, no, we're going to beat his ass and make him join us too and get in line. The bloodline ain't changed in that regard, but it's gone through many forms. In fact, and Dave, admittedly, he did say, well, other than the bloodline, they don't put a lot of, but I disagree. Look at Punk, look at Roman and Rhodes and that feud. I guess look at Punk and Seth. Look at what they did with Punk and Rhodes, which was somewhat like, hey, we're friends, we're buddies, and we're going to tag together, but then we're going to have to fight each other. But look at what they're doing with KO and Sammy, building heat, getting tons of heat on Sammy, building the drama. We know because the nuance of KO's character and his past, we go, oh, dude, he might just glom Punk with the title to win it. And then he goes, no, Sammy, not this time. Even though every time they fucking team up and eventually Sammy and KO link up, he goes, not this time, man. I can't do it. And then he fucking loses his shot. Like, that's the real shit, bro. That's, God damn it, Dave. They literally go, 10 years ago, we fought in New Japan. And, bruv, I've wanted to beat you ever since, bruv. That's the story. And I won a tournament. So if I won the tournament and you weren't champ, bruv, I would actually be fighting someone else. And none of what I'm saying would even actually fucking matter. And they should have built this being the reason why I want to fucking beat you from the beginning instead of me winning a fucking tournament and then inserting this after and flipping around who's babyface and heel. That's what the story should have fucking been. Should have been, bro, we're 1-1. I want to smoke you. You fucking, what you're telling me I didn't draw New Japan? I put Japan on my back, bruv. But then what does Ospreay do? He goes on Twitter, oh, New Japan, you have to step up, bruv. Even though he didn't draw after when he was on top, that's when New Japan started tanking. And then Tone gutted the fucking place. So he can't do that because he shit on all the current New Japan guys going, bruv, you guys should work hard. So that can't be the story. Fucking it's just moronic. It's stupid and it's elementary. And Dave can't name one reason. I just named 15 reasons why it's just surface level garbage that doesn't make sense. He can't name one reason why this is so nuanced.
I mean, there's so many different
challenges.
It's good to have different types of wrestling and different types of appeal.
Yeah, which AEW doesn't. It's just the same type of every.
It's a lot deeper
like
than
for
WWE.
instance, I'll give you the perfect example. People go, oh, well, AEW is a smorgasbord of. No, it's not. WWE, they announce a lucha tournament. People go, damn, man, that's going to be sick. And it added some new flavor. Let me kick some new flavor in your ear. It added some new flavor to fucking Raw for a couple weeks. And some of the characters you see in there and a different style of wrestling between Dragon Lee and Rey Fenix than you're used to seeing all the time. That's how you captivate, man. And that's how you add a little more flavor and mix it up. You want to appeal to new people. Hey, there's a lucha tournament. The winner, we're going to Mexico. Winner's going to face Roman for the world title. That's mixing it up and showing people, hey, here's some lucha flavor being thrown in the fucking mix. In AEW, the luchas all just do crazy shit. And then Darby just does crazy shit. And then fucking Ospreay just does crazy shit. And then Swerve just does crazy shit. And then the Bucks just do a bunch of crazy shit. It's not a variety. It's not a smorgasbord. It's not challenging. It's not, I'm sorry. And there's a reason, right? There's a reason for this. There's a reason why WWE's global. Is that not appealing to more different people? When they pull up and do fucking 50,000 people in Australia, then they go to France and it's fucking the most insane crowds you've ever seen. And then they go to Vegas and do, what did they do for SummerSlam as well? Like 40,000 people. They're saying it's a flop. You look at every single year of SummerSlam and they draw like 14,000 people, 18,000 people, 13,000 people. It's just most recently we're used to WWE doing like, we're just so spoiled. That's the problem. We're getting fucking Mania's doing like 60,000 both nights. They do 50,000 both nights one year, and people are like, man, it's really fallen off. It's fucking crazy. It's just mind-numbingly redacted, and people just got to start admitting this stuff. CWJ for 5. Thank you so much for the super chat. It says, show a non-wrestling fan a Oba Lesnar match in an Ospreay Omanga. That's what Kenny's going to change his name to, Omanga, and he's just going to parody manga characters. Omanga. It's like Umaga mixed with Kenny. Omega match. Which would they say is more physical and lead to becoming a fan? Well, I'll tell you what's more sports based. If you showed people NFL, NBA, MLB, UFC, and then you showed them, and then you said, okay, so you'd spend half an hour showing some presentation and highlights from UFC, NFL, NHL, right? And then you take the next half hour and then you show people WWE and then AEW and go, which of those wrestling companies is more sports-based? Which is more realistic? I promise you, people will say WWE, but nobody wants to fucking, well, people do want to admit that. Just sickos don't want to admit that. And it is the case. Point blank. Like, I'm a diehard MMA fan. And when Ariel Helwani interviews these AEW guys, read the comments, bro. That's all I'll say. Like, he has an MMA audience and he interviews AEW guys. If any of those MMA fans go, all right, let me check out this AEW, I'm telling you right now, they go, that is the fakest, phoniest shit. MMA, real fighters think that shit's phony as fuck. I'm just going to leave it. That's the whole MVP Mike Bailey thing, and I've explained this before. MVP's a real jiu-jitsu guy. Lashley's a real fighter. You guys can sit there and go, well, Mike Bailey throws these fucking kicks. It's phony baloney, bro. Right? I'm sorry. And real fighters know that, like, that karate shit don't really work in real fucking fights. This was discovered in the 90s by a guy named Hoist Gracie. Right? Now, unless you're like Wonderboy Thompson level, okay. Right? There's some anomalies who can come in and fucking wheel kick. You're like Carlos Prates, right? You're one of these fucking high level. Okay. But I'm just telling you, like, real shooters think that shit's phony. They think what Ospreay does is phony. They think what Swerve does is phony. And if they saw an Oba Brock, that's just box office appeal. It's supposed to be superheroes, right? So that's the appeal of fucking pro wrestling, is it's like real life comic books in a way. Everything's canon, right? Everything, once something happens in the timeline, it happened forever. You have to accept it. Mae Young gave birth to a hand. You have to accept it. It's canon now. And you want to see people that are larger and larger than life and really sexy and fucking have these like crazy battles that you could, yeah, that's what it is. So thank you so much for the super chat. And guys, patreon.com/pro wrestle times. We went longer than I thought today, man. Holy shit. I thought this would be a quicker show, but we have a couple clips left. And so, Dave Meltzer, again, we talked about this earlier. All of the hype surrounding All In right now, I've done more to promote All In, and I just shit all over it. And actually talk about what's going on in AEW, and I just shit all over it. In AEW right now, it's Ospreay talking about why he didn't like WWE, Ospreay talking about The Rock, MJF talking about WWE Radio, Ricochet coping over Paul Heyman, NXT beefing with Big Show, former NXT guys. You have Tony Khan being asked about John Cena. You have Edge talking about John Cena. You have Jericho talking about why he turned WWE down. You have the fans going, is Dragunov coming in? Is Kairi Sane coming in? Is the New Day coming in? What? It's just WWE, 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 WWE. That's all it is. So what does Dave decide to do a couple days ago, Time Cop? Could you see any members of the Elite going to WWE, Brian? fucking insane. And now the rumors are the Bucks they could fucking skate. And Dave is actively, this is how incestuous AEW and fucking The Observer and all this bullshit is. Dave is actively going to help his friends, the Bucks, work Money Mark Tone, who calls Dave on the phone and runs his booking by him, out of more money.
Could you see Omega, as he's getting older, looking to have an easier on-the-body final run with WWE to close out his career?
I mean, I don't want to say no, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I think if he was
obviously not
gone, it would have already happened. I don't rule it out, but yeah, I don't think so. I think I think when they made that last deal, and all of them, including Paige, Young Bucks, they absolutely could have gone to WWE. Absolutely. There was a point where
that's not impressive, hey? So like anybody in AEW can go to WWE, right?
Some wanted to go. I think in hindsight,
the majority of them, like Ricky Saints is in WWE, main eventing the live tour, likely going to be main eventing the fucking SmackDown sooner or later. Like, he's touching Gunther and Punk and Rhodes all the time, clearly to get him ready for what? To touch them on TV. So what are we talking about, man? Ricky Saints can go over there and be a big fucking, they'll actually push him and market him correctly. So it's like, okay, they absolutely could have went, yeah, no shit, to Felt Tone. Of course they could go there.
Probably. You may know more than me on this, because it's not like I broached the subject with him or anything. So, but I get the impression that they probably, put it this way, I think that they all made the right choice.
Yes, they get NBA level deals, according to the Bucks. Tone's bragging about almost $6 million gate. Okay, each Buck is getting at least $3 million, dude. You guys know that, right? You guys understand this? I've broken this all down before as well.
I think that
I've seen spreadsheets. No.
I think that they're all pretty much guaranteed a spot.
I've had motherfuckers tell me I'm very spot on with some of the numbers I've thrown out as far as what people are getting paid. And all I'm saying is this. You have to really think about this. Each Buck is getting an NBA level contract, according to both of them, as individuals. Omega's getting a talent and DVP check. Hangman is in the millions. Moxley's in the millions. Danielson's in the millions. Jericho's in the millions. Once you get an all-elite graphic, you're in the six figures and up. That's why everybody goes out there and they try and do these crazy matches. And when you get that graphic, you're six figures and up. That's how it works. Otherwise, you're just getting paid like per spot. That's why it's fucked too. Because in AEW, you're either getting paid a shitload, and that's why everybody's out there going crazy. They're all just trying to get on salary. How it works in AEW is once you're on salary, it's six figures and up. So that's all anybody's trying to do there. And it's fucked because the people who aren't on salary, they're getting paid shit, dick all. And they're only getting paid when Tone calls you, and he can say that certain what indies you can and can't do. Okay? So you're fucked. And you're either getting paid a lot or you're getting paid nada. Whereas in WWE, on the main roster, you're making six figures or more automatically. And in NXT, you have people, some of them making six figures, and you're making livable money. Now, if you're a chick like Jasmine Nix or whatever her name was, and she's like, well, I could just stream and like do brand deals on my Instagram and open an OF and I'll fucking make $1 million in a month. Yeah, like obviously there's people who could make more money than embracing the grind in NXT and whatnot. But in the long term, with Tone, you make more money up front. In the long term, you make more money in WWE. There's way more opportunity in WWE than there is in AEW, right? So Edge is in the millions. Christian, above $1 million. We didn't even name everybody. Man. Okada in the millions. Swerve in the millions. Over the 8 years, I'm pretty sure he signed 8 years. He's in the millions. MJF in the millions. Monet in the millions. One of the highest paid women's wrestlers of all time. Swerve in the millions. Okay? Now, we're not even naming everybody. So when it's like, almost a $6 million gate. Okay. I mean, I'll put that over, I guess. Like, it's no joke to get 50,000, 45,000 people in a place. Yes, they padded the shit out of the attendance, which is fine. Every wrestling company does it. Not as much as AEW, but when you're doing 50% off tickets and the day of, they're going to sell them for $20 at the fucking door. And then Thurston's going to sue the building and find out the paid attendance is like way lower than what Tone's fronting about. We already know he's done this multiple times already.
AEW, and I think that in WWE.
So it's like, are any of these guys worth it? So obviously none of these guys are going to WWE because WWE is going to go, this is what you're actually worth. And the Bucks don't move merch like they used to. So the appeal of the Bucks years ago was, well, they sell a bunch of those fucking t-shirts. Now go to a Hot Topic and tell me what shirts are in there. Is it the Bucks or is it all just WWE shit?
There would be people trying to prove that they're not really as good as their hype. And once you have that, it's kind of tough. It's not Cody. You know, Cody's situation is different, especially with Kenny being hurt. If it was Kenny in his prime, you know, he could probably be the top guy in the whole company. Except for Paige, I'm not sure.
Oh, my God. Kenny would be the top guy in all of WWE. Now, I believe he would be a top guy. I think WWE would know how to market him. And when Kenny really paces his matches out, it's way more bangerish than when he just, you know, it depends who he wrestles, right? If he's wrestling like Okada, banger. Certain guys, though, it's like you can tell he's just kind of doing, like when he wrestled Gabe Kidd, that was a solid match, you know, things like that. Like when he really paces his matches out, he's been doing more of that lately. He can have a fucking banger. Prime Kenny, but Dave's backwards. He's like, Prime Kenny would be running the company. No, Kenny now would be better than Prime Kenny. Kenny never really knew how to cut promos well. He especially doesn't know how to as a heel. In Japan, he could get away because he just has to say, and I don't like you. And you know, like you're a gaijin. You don't have to fucking, you know, you have people translating what you're saying, so you can get away with some more. Kenny has gotten better on the stick, but WWE would know how to market him and all of these things. But as far as like promo battle with who? Roman cooks him, Punk cooks him, Rhodes would cook him, and Rhodes is cringy, but he ain't as cringy as Kenny. Okay? A bunch of these guys would cook him. KO would cook him. Sammy would cook him. I don't even know if he'd be a top guy, dude. Ethan Page would cook Kenny on the mic.
Sure how much longer any of them are going to go. Because Matt considered stopping. You know, Matt's in his 40s and they're, you know, like they're set. You know, all of them. They're all set for life. You know, they've made a lot of money.
They made a lot of money and AEW hasn't, and the company year over year has trended downwards in every scientifically measurable mathematical metric of any data you can point to, down year over year over year over year over year over year over year. And they made so much money, they're set for life.
And they're not
leaving AEW in a worse place than when they found it. Think about that.
You know, I mean, they do their vacations and everything like that, but you know, it's not like they're Ric Flair and just like they, you know, they spend like crazy. I mean, they're all set, and I think that, you know, Kenny's going to go. You know, I don't know. I think that he'll try to go as long as he can, but I could see, you know, Matt and Nick, like I've heard it discussed that this might be their last contract. You know, people always say that, and there's like so much money thrown at you afterwards to stay, so you always do. But like I said, like I don't necessarily, you know, I mean, we'll see what happens when the deal's up. I mean, Adam Page will probably wrestle for many more years because he's a lot younger than the other ones.
All right, so there you go. Dave's like, hey, you know, the Elite, they're going to be gone or possibly go to the Fed. Wow, thanks, Dave. So much to look forward to.
Well, the show.
So here is, again, this is the last clip. What was the point of last week's angle where Omega gave Ospreay a one-winged angel through the fucking table? Exactly what I'm
Would have been quite bizarre fashion, and I haven't seen anybody mention this anywhere, but Will Ospreay came out On the last show, he was put through a table off the apron of the floor
I know,
with
and
a one-winged angel.
And he didn't even have a neck brace on, and he didn't address
Not
it.
only did he not sell this, but Tony Schiavone actually did a big speech as he was coming out saying, everybody, he's 100%. We don't need to worry about surgeries or neck injuries or death riders. He's ready to go.
Why did they do that angle?
Like, what?
Why? Okay, so now that angle is completely useless.
I was astonished.
I mean,
I've
seen this thing before, and the thing that you do is you come out with a neck brace, and you get all fired up, and you tear your neck brace, and you throw it in the crowd. Ric Flair used to do this, and you go like, I'm 100% and blah, 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 and all that, and you do the dramatic thing, and yeah, did not happen.
You do the dramatic thing, and it did not happen. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave's breakdown of all of this stuff. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was Dave Meltzer Dumb Moment of the Week.
This just in, we have confirmed that Dave Meltzer fears PWT and flutes.
Guys, I will see you Saturday for a regularly scheduled PWT live show. I will see you guys Sunday for AAA versus NXT versus AEW. And boy, I cannot wait. Thank you so much, PWT Universe. Round of applause, DMDMW. Ladies and gentlemen, be good to yourselves and each other. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.
Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. You're overdue. I just felt it's something that makes you look good, and that's cool, and you know, I'm all for it, but I think you need to tone this down because now it's getting obtrusive to the show. That they can go in the afternoon for a US
Hold
show,
on a second.
as they did there, and they
Dave?
can do 180,000 buys for an afternoon show, which they've also done for All In. So
Okay,
we
hold
know
on.
they can do. We know they can do big.
Can I
numbers for an
continue
afternoon.
this before you cut me off? We know one thing.
Yes.
We know it might have done well because it went on first.
I'm not saying it would.
Here's my thing, Dave.
But here's okay. Wait. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I mean, it didn't mean anything to me. It was just a match.
That's the problem, Dave. It should mean something to you.
Give him a quick squash win just to show that, like, you know, he's not a loser.